everyone. Welcome back to another genuinely incredible list review, this time for the genuinely incredible Desolation of Wellington. I'm your host, the genuinely incredible Sam, and with me is Jenny, he's all right, and George, who is also pretty good. So we just thought we'd start off by, before we get into the Desolation itself, just doing a quick wee recap of the Southcon.
Genuinely incredible Southcon.
The genuinely incredible Southcon. You're absolutely right, which was the subject of our last genuinely incredible video.
The genuinely incredible Damien.
That is true. That's actually unironically incredible, dude. Anyone, either of you want to give us a quick breakdown? Maybe Denny, do you want to tell us quickly about Southcon, how it went? You know, just for modesty's sake, I want to ask George to do it.
Let us should mention this. It's exciting because it's the first tournament this year. All three of us attended.
Is it? I guess you were hosting DennyCon.
Yeah.
George won.
Hooray!
Incredibly, genuinely incredible George won.
Genuinely incredible George.
With a great list, might I add.
A really great list.
I took some.
I think lots of people say it's how you use the list, not the list itself. I think it's the general argument there, right?
I think if we're reviewing lists, it should all be about the list and not about the player.
That list plays itself.
It defeats us talking. Yeah, that's exactly right. That list plays itself. Get in there, call death. Yeah.
It was honestly quite often during the games I was playing, like, man, there's some things in this list I would change.
Well, you might have flunked it if you had. So it's lucky it was exactly as it was. Any changes that finally perfectly balanced list. Yeah, exactly. Literally flawless.
I couldn't get hold of Denny's list for this event, unfortunately.
It's probably for the best, actually. It wasn't great last year.
How'd yours go, Denny? The Assault on Lothlorien.
I thoroughly enjoyed every single game, and I loved that Legion. That's what I'm going to say. It was incredibly fun to run. I think the podium was George's, Theoden's, Riders, and then second and third were both Assault on Lothlorien.
That's right.
So it is a very, very strong list.
Well deserved. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we're going to see it in a lot of competitive play from now until an FAQ comes along and says that you must take all three named heroes.
And especially at that 650.
Yeah,
that's strong. But I mean, we've also seen the three named hero vision cleaning up tournaments in the UK. So
yeah, I think like the FAQ would just be for lower points games where you kind of force to take all three named heroes rather than play a game where you're versing like 14 goblin shots that get +1 to wound at 600 points or whatever. Feels a bit mean. No.
How many are we predicting for this tournament? I'm going
to say 0 just because of the specs for day 2.
Yeah.
True, that's a good call about day 2. Yeah. Hard to shoehorn that in.
Spoilers, it's the future. We're not talking about the future this year, we're talking about the past. Sam, how did you find your list?
So for those of you who didn't tune into our last episode, I brought Corsairs and had like 15 crossbows and like 45 troops. And
sort of everything you'd want.
Somehow, you would think so.
A great list.
Somehow, I was wiped off the table twice out of the 5 games. And I put that down to partly me not being very good on the table, and also I think I just saw fight 4 and +1s to wound and thought, I'll just throw them into combat. Doesn't work. Didn't work. Not my finest hour. So anyway, I had fun. I enjoyed myself. I learned a lot about who I am as a player, which has inspired the list that I'm bringing to this tournament here, which is much more Sam. And I just want to say quickly while I'm here that I think part of being tabled was the fact that in this tournament there were no minor wins or minor losses, or major wins, major losses. So it was kind of like once you are losing, the incentive is just to go hard and hope the dice work out and try and get the win. Like in one game, it was, to the death against the Fellowship, and we were left with just Gimli and no one else left on the board. So if I'd managed to kill Gimli before I lost my last Corsair, all of a sudden I get the win. So it's one of those things that at that point in time, you might as well just go hard.
If I got tabled twice as well, I think I'd make some pretty reasonable excuses as to why as well.
Look, I
tabled 2 opponents in that tournament, so kind of like the inverse of you, Sam.
Exactly, Denny. You're the opposite of me in every way, and that brings me a lot of joy when I think about that. I lie in bed at night.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm nothing like. At least I'm nothing like him. Anyway, that's my justification for my appalling, disastrous play. But it was a great time. We enjoyed Southcon, didn't we? And the road tripping and the checking out Dunedin. It was great fun.
No, me and Sam drove down together, and it was an absolute blast. And got
Absolute
to
blast.
retail them of all my victories on the way home. It was divine.
And George was really good about the fact that I got tabled twice. He made very
Didn't bring
few,
it up once.
very few comments about it. He's a class act. But anyway,
I mean, you also got tabled in poker beforehand, didn't you? The night before.
and in Hanabi, I mean, I just got tabled repeatedly. I'm just a menace.
The difference between poker was Sam was just allowed to add endless chips to.
I think I lost.
Didn't quite understand the concept.
I lost as many courses in poker as I did on the table. Anyway, enough about that. Enough about Southcon. Enough about our inside jokes. That's our feedback. There's too much of that, so I'm going to cut that out.
I do like that our comment before we started this podcast was the biggest critique of the cast is that our shortest episode has been 6 hours long, and now we've started with like a 10-minute segment on nothing to do with the event we're talking about now.
All right, let's end this. Let's end this immediately and go straight into Deso. Deso.
After living my whole life with no friends and being unable to make inside jokes, it's great to finally make them now.
Not your friends. You don't know. Is there some confusion here?
Deso.
George, give us a rundown on Deso. What is the Desolation experience? What are we expecting?
So Desolation is a 2-day Wellington event up in Wellington, run by the wonderful Govinda. It's a de-escalation event. So day 1 is 650 points and day 2 is 350, with your day 2 models needing to come from your 650 point list. And it's 3 games day 1, 4 games day 2, I want to say, with some preset scenarios. Day 1, I believe, is assassination, contest, maelstrom of some description. Does anyone remember what maelstrom 1 it is?
Yeah, command the battlefield. And you might just want to mention that day 1's a pool event.
Is it not pool both days?
I guess it is pooled both days, but so I think in day 1 there's 24 players, so you're divided into 6 pools. The top 2 players from each pool go into I think it's the trophy category for day 2, and the bottom 2 players from each pool go into the cup category.
Yeah, it's like the champions.
Yeah,
it's like European football of Middle Earth. But yeah, it's a good point. The structure is quite different to a normal tournament that you have sort of preset opponents in your pool each day, in your day 1, and then day 2 is, I believe, just standard Swiss.
I'm excited to see the pool of death this year.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe the 3 of us.
Just us 3 of us.
Yeah.
I don't know if Sam in a pool counts as a pool of death.
I'm not sure how I put. No, it's very much. I'm the one who dies in the pool of death.
To 45 courses.
Sam in a pool is just grey worms.
And so day 2 is 4 scenarios. I believe we have to the death, destroy the supplies, reconnoiter. Someone help me out here.
I think breakthrough.
Thank you, Denny. And I'm really looking forward to it. It's gonna be fun.
That'd be great.
24 players, which means a decent sized tournament, which is gonna be cool. And 7 games.
Very cool.
I'm excited.
You've forgotten the hit song. The twist.
The twist.
Oh, the twist. There's an apparent twist to the tournament, which is that was the worst segue I've ever heard in my entire life. There is a twist to the tournament, which Govinda is keeping close to his heart. Close to his chest. I don't know what the saying is.
Both.
Both work. Which he's going to bring in and inform us on the day. So I'm curious as to what this is going to be. Is it going to be game breaking? If it's going to be a glorious addition, we'll have to wait and find out.
I've heard that every army is getting an addition of a goblin mercenary captain and 15 goblin mercenaries. So that's just going to be complete chaos. Complete chaos.
Triples my model count there too.
Right, okay. Shall we start?
I'm really hoping the model count does not follow what Southcon's was. I'm really hoping we can just go back to normality and
no spoilers, but as the man who's seen the list, George, you're screwed. You're completely screwed. So let's let's move on that note and have a quick look, firstly, at this incredible graphic that the genuinely incredible Govinda himself has prepared, showing the distribution of the lists. And I think it's really, really cool thing to see. What is the meta? Who even knows? What's a meta?
A lot of Lord of the Rings era, which is cool. I think we
I feel
can
like that's
all agree
usually
it's
the
our
New Zealand
favorite.
meta.
It is,
Yeah,
I think, yeah.
I think it's
And
the
that-
price thing. I think Hobbit models are expensive.
Literally what I was about to say. Yeah.
You can't
It's
pick
just
them up off Trade Me, you know. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a shame from such a great source movie as well.
it's true. I think that is New Zealand meta, having a massive tournament with like one of every freaking army,
Big, yeah, absolutely.
and a couple of
Am
other
I
ones which are.
absolutely crazy, or do we have 0 legions from the new book?
Yeah, you're not crazy.
Because
Actually,
there's-
There's very
I
few
was
legions
expecting
full
like
stop,
6
actually.
Easterling legions, but I guess no one's Dragon Emperors have arrived and had time to be painted in time. And no,
5
no
legions in
assault
total?
Lothlorians. Is there only 5 legions total?
Yeah,
2
Mm.
riders, defenders.
a wolves and a Return of the King.
Wow, that's cool.
Oh,
I
and
like
Rangers, I
that.
guess. Rangers of the
Wolves
Yeah,
are
so-
New Zealand
And
meta, aren't they?
Dunlin, probably.
Oh, yeah, I guess it's now, isn't it? True.
No, that's awesome because I was scared we were always slowly switching towards
Mm.
a legendary legion only meta.
Alrightio.
And only 2 of like, you know, one army is very cool.
Yeah, that's really, really good to
It's a
see.
big variety.
There's
It's always
nothing,
nice when you like show up and get to play 7 different armies.
and there's nothing I hate more than turning up to a tournament and being like, damn, I'm the 3rd guy who's bought Last Alliance, and mine is the worst list of the 3. That's so it's good to be. Maybe I've got the worst numeral list, but hey, look, who cares? Doesn't
It's
matter.
always awkward when you get tabled by the other Last Alliance list, isn't it?
Yeah, I've been there. But he's in Australia now. Hi, Josh, if you're watching. Thanks for not coming to this year's DSO and showing me up again. I really appreciate it. All right, here. Shall we crack into Los Listos themselves?
We are going to do our best, guys, to keep it short.
We
and
are.
get to the usual.
If you see me
He
waving
says
or
35 minutes into the video.
furiously cutting at George and Jenny to shut them up, that's what's going on there. Absolutely seamless. Denny, take us through.
All right. This is an Angmar list. So we've got the Witch King with 315-3. He does have a crown. That's a bold call. We'll talk about that at length, I'm sure. It's taking an armored horse and the Morgul Blade. That's pretty cool. He is taking 6 orcs with shield, 4 with shield and spear, 1 with banner and shield. Warband 2 is a Barrowite with 5 orcs and shield, 4 with shield and spear. Warband number 3, 3rd verse, same as the 2nd. So, yep. And then Shade for the 4th warband, 6 orcs with shield, and 4 with shield and spear, making a total model count of someone?
Quick maths.
43.
7.
That is
sticking
a
with that.
lot of orcs. That is a lot of orcs
3,
causing
4.
terror across the board with a neg 1 Shade. It is a very strong bubble army.
I have a disclaimer about this list. The player who sent this list in also messaged me and saying before we ripped them out for not having a second threat, they originally wanted Birder, but they didn't get around to painting him. So no one going off and rip them out for the lack of second threat. The intention was Birder.
No. Really? I'm a big fan
I
of the
mean,
double
I prefer
barrel,
this.
right? Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
very right. Yeah, this is cool.
Yeah, 100%. Well done that you couldn't get Birder, because I think this is a better list. Good lord.
It's the fact that it's 44, 43 models all with terror.
Yeah, that's it.
It's
With the
the
neg 1 bubble as
outrageous.
well.
Yeah,
neg 1 bubble.
bubble's enormous.
I mean, like the issue with Angmar, being seasoned Angmar players that we are, George, for me has just always been the lack of any kind of kill power with the strength 3 orcs. So the banner and the shade is cool. You'll definitely be winning a lot of combats. It's going to be interesting to see what you come up against and if you can actually punch through all that.
Roll that 6. Yeah.
Roll that
It'd
6.
be kind of cool with the shade tossing in like a handful of two-handed weapons.
100% agree.
Absolutely
Because,
agree.
because then it gives you a bit more killing power.
Yeah.
The guys on the front can be two-handed weapon. You guys on the back can have a spear and a banner to support it, and then that way you still can get to the 6, and you guys at the front.
Absolutely agree.
Too detrimental.
No, I think if you drop the Morgul blade, that gives you 2 hands, 5 2 hands in there. They're 1 point each, eh?
Yep.
Is the blade 5 or 10 points? 5?
Blade's 10 points, I think, isn't it?
Is it 10 points? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. I mean, it's just a personal preference. I'm not a big fan of the blade because I've never managed to get it off.
I don't mind the blade. I think it gives you just that one-off, for 10 points.
It's a threat, for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can very easily drop a point of will. I think 314 3 is totally fine. 314 2 is totally fine.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm curious. What do you guys run? Witch King? Obviously, it depends. What's the
but 314 3 is what I try to take it at.
Yeah.
I think it's funny.
I'm bold. I go 314 2, I think.
Anyone from overseas who's now coming in to see what do the New Zealand people who write lists think of, if the first thing they're getting is you should put more 2-handed weapons in that list, and they're just logging out right now.
Take less fate on your hero.
That's the NZ meta, 2-hand weapons on everyone. Yeah.
The NZ meta is they would have taken this, but it's not painted yet, so we've got this.
Yes, genuinely.
No, I think it's a very cool list.
Right.
Yeah, in all seriousness, I think, what's the first one? Maelstrom's going to be a bit difficult depending on how you roll there with those Barrow-rights and the Shade, who I don't think has any might, but a 3 Might Witch King. Hopefully you're not burning all that might with the Witch King to come in with the rest of your troops, so good luck there. Second game of Assassination. I'm interested to see a Barrow-right take down another secondary hero. If that's going to happen. I don't think that's what's going to happen, but who knows? Stranger things have happened. And then for contests, that's a very, very strong contests of champion list, I think.
All right, let us see what the 350 has in store for us, because it's quite interesting where you cut power on this list. And I think they've done it pretty much perfectly.
So I'll just quickly go through this. So you got the Witch King, 315-3, with the Crown, Armored Horse, and Morgul Blade. That's probably why the Foul Beast wasn't taken in the 650 list, just because you have to keep the war gear on for day 2. He's taken 6 with Shield and Spear, and then 4 just with Shield. Then second warband is Barrier Right with 5 Orcs with Shield and Spear, and 4 Orcs with Shield. And I don't have much to say on that.
I think something interesting would be, I'm assuming you couldn't drop, based off that you weren't allowed to drop war gear, you couldn't drop will points.
Imagine so.
Between that. So I think there's an argument there to your Witch King tone him down for day 1 just because you want to tone down vision for day 2. You could run something maybe 313-2, 313-3, whatever you prefer, and no Morgul Blade day 1 just to free yourself 20 extra points for day 2.
That's true.
I was just going to say that, as I would have probably, knowing the scenarios for day 2, speed is of the essence. So it's interesting. But I would have dropped the Morgul Blade for day 1 just because I don't know how to use it. Put in probably some more troops, but probably a bit of variety there with a couple of maybe just wargs or even a warg rider.
Yeah.
So I think recon is in day 2, and then destroy the supplies. You're going to need some kind of maneuverability, if not to actually touch the supplies, but just to annoy your opponent and think, oh god, there's a 10-inch moving thing over here. I can't ignore that.
I also like
put some troops there.
The thinking with Angmar, when you sort of look at building a 350 list, the blueprint tends to be one giant leader like your Gilgalads, Lendals, your Danes, whatever it is, and 18 troops. And Angmar just has so much fun when it's able to shut down that giant leader. And at 350, having a Witch King and a Barrow White, no leader is going to be able to, blast through that amount of magic. So I think it's kind of a good read on the meta in that sense. I think it's a cool list.
Definitely.
Awesome. Stoked. Right, yeah. What's next, boys and girls?
Keeping us to time. Good stuff.
Incredible. Here we are. Squint for this. Really long warbands here. All right.
I'm getting flashbacks.
All right, we've got Dunland. Thryden on a horse is leading. 4 Dunlendings with shields, 3 Huskarls, 2 Dunlendings with bows, 1 Dunlending with a banner, and 1 Creebane. And we've got Gorulf Ironskin leading 4 Dunlendings with shield, 3 Huskarls, 2 Dunlendings with bow, 1 Dunlending horseman, and 1 Creebane. And then we've got a Dunlending Chieftain leading 4 Dunlendings with shield, 3 Huskarls, and 1 Creebane. And finally, the Wildman Oathmaker leading 8 times Wild Men.
Sam just loves taking Creebane.
It's just a vicious list.
Creebane.
I mean, this list, something very similar to this list, I assume it's the same player, showed up in our last list review for DennyCon.
And Table George.
And it genuinely has now made me terrified of Dunlin. Like, having played Rohan against it, I had Theodred's Guard or whatever the list is called, and it just rolled me with +1 to wound and hatred Rohan. And having taken Rohan again to this tournament, I'm genuinely terrified.
I really hope the poll is just you with all of the Rohan, all the
Dunlin.
Dunland, and yeah.
But like going into that tournament, this Dunlin list was my favorite list going into that tournament. I think it's like such a good list. It's so powerful. It's got all the tools you need. It's like a Swiss Army of a list, man. It's very cool.
And built really well.
I've got no comments for this. This is how I'll probably run a 650 list.
I think the interesting thing is like, and probably a good game we can play going forward is how we would have, well, like what we want to see it cutting down to 350. So I think it's going to be something like Thryda and Gorolf with as much of that Warbane you can get.
I'm assuming they're going to take as many Creebanes as possible for day 2.
I think you can take 1. I don't know if you can justify
take more
2.
than 1. Yeah.
Really? With destroy the supplies,
a massive percentage of your army.
You know, if you're taking a Creebane, a Banner, Thryden, and Gorolf, that's a large chunk of points that always sort of manage to.
That's over 200 there.
You know, and then add in, maybe instead of a second Creebane, you're adding 2 horsemen or something. I don't know if you could justify the second Creebane, but Sam, do us the honors.
On them.
I never heard George limit Creebane before.
I was really hoping the next one was just 3 Creebane.
We've got Thryden and a horse, 4 Dunlendings and shield, 2 Huskarls, 2 Dunlendings with bow, 1 Dunlending with a banner, and 1 Creebane, just the 1. And then we've got Gorolf with 3 Dunlendings and shield, 2 Huskarls, and 2 Dunlendings with bows.
I think it's pretty much perfect.
Honesty bows.
Maybe there's an argument to try and get another Cav in there, just due to the nature of the scenarios. But other than that, it's pretty spot on.
Can I ask a silly question? What are Huskarls? They're 11 points.
Yeah.
Right? And what do they actually give the list?
Fight
I'm not being... Is it fight? So they are fight 4.
They're fight 4 within like 3 inches of a hero if they're supporting.
You're playing 11 points for a standard...
For a fight 4 spear.
Well, fight 3.
Strength 4?
That might go to...
Yeah. They're all strength 4. The troops are strength 4, yeah.
Okay.
So
is it bodyguard or something?
So it's 44 points
bodyguard as well. Yeah.
Okay.
They're not good value, the Huskarls, but they are...
So that's 44 points of Huskarl.
Yeah.
I'm doubling down on my take more Creebane. Even if you wanted to halve your number of Huskarl, just get 1 more Creebane.
I feel like bodyguard's also very, very strong there too. Bodyguard just at low points in general is very good. You know, with multiple objectives, you kind of can only afford to put 1 or 2 guys on an objective, and when they have bodyguard, you're a lot more happy about that.
That's fair.
I think I'd sort of pay the couple of extra points just to have bodyguard personally.
You are doing that with the Huskarls, that's for sure.
Gorolf's a great pick as well. Just charging the leader.
Nominal.
See what happens.
Yeah.
Big fan. Again, someone else who's done a good job of realizing it's probably going to be a giant leader plus some chaff.
As a man who's bought a giant leader plus some chaff, I'm not stoked to see Gorolf Ironskin sticking his head above the parapet there. That's right.
What are your guys' thoughts on just a boost the numbers, just chucking more Wildmen in there? Because those warbands aren't maxed, are they?
I think I saw Sam's cursor hover over to the next list little button there.
Sorry.
No, you did. I mean, I think you've probably got a pretty reasonable numbers considering all these lists at 350, haven't you? Anyway, it doesn't.
350 is just
pretty low.
Very, very prone to shooting as well. And I feel like if you add Wildmen, you're just giving such a free target. You know, the rest of it's at least D5. You know, and second you add those Wildmen, and you're just asking.
Do you know what does great against shooting? Things called Creebane.
You got 20 models there. You got 2 reasonably mid-tier heroes. I don't know. I don't look at it and think it's too
short. Where are you
short.
finding another 20 points for a Creebane here, Denny?
Huskarls.
Huskarls.
100
Two
points a
Huskarls.
pop. Yeah, 2
Good job.
Huskarls
You're dropping 2 Huskarls.
for a crew van.
He's a madman.
Increasing the number of wounds. Anyway, all right, we're moving on. Who knows? Stylistic preferences at that point.
Denny's wrong. I'm right.
Denny
That's it.
writes the list. George plays
Yeah,
it.
who
That's
writes
how
the
this
list here,
works.
George? Yeah.
That's how this works. All right. Next up, folks, we have down in Goblin Town. George, read it out for us.
Sweet. So we have Goblin King with 18 goblins and Golem. We have Grinner, 18 goblins. We have the Goblin Scribe with 12 goblins. We have a Goblin Town Captain with 14 goblins and a Goblin Mercenary Captain with 12 goblins. I really got caught off by the fact they have an army bonus, which lets them take much more troops, right?
Yeah.
It's not often you see 14 in a captain's warband.
I had a double take as well. Yeah. I think it's 80 models all up. I was
about to say
saw
someone
before.
done maths.
Yeah.
Good guy. I mean, it was bound to happen. We've done well as a country to avoid this list for the majority for a few years. You know,
Now here we
it's
are.
just
two
been
Goblin
Damien,
Town tournaments.
yeah, no, it's
Genuinely.
a very good list, and I think there's probably not a whole lot of different ways to build it at 650. I think
At
I
any
know I was
level, really,
talking
is there?
Yeah, like unless you want to go down the allied path, like I was talking to you guys, it was a list I was looking
Yeah.
into, and at 650 I went for an allied sort of Spider Queen variant. But I think if you're going pure, this is just, I like the idea of 12 mercenaries. It's probably, I mean, maybe there's an argument to split, like try split them, get a second merc captain and split them, just because it's going to be quite
That's
hard
what I
to
was
get
gonna say.
12,
Yep.
12 mercenaries into one piece of terrain. But I imagine for day 2 they've cut down on those amount of mercenaries.
Shall we find out?
Go on.
They have.
They have, but not by much.
No.
Still keeping 10. I mean, they are very good in Destroy the Supplies, right? You know,
For those
It's
listening to
hard.
us, for those listening to us on Spotify and SoundCloud, that's a Goblin King with 10 goblins, Grinner with 10 goblins, and a Goblin Mercenary Captain with 10 mercenaries in day 2.
True. Is this the point where I announce to you, Sam, I don't upload to anything else?
What? You're kidding
We're
me.
only on YouTube.
Oh, well, all the YouTube premium subscribers, they'll be
Maybe this is the one we finally explore into SoundCloud.
That's a pretty strong day 2
That's-
list.
a gnarly day 2 list, yeah.
I don't want to verse that. I can't remember if Goblin Mercs can do their shenanigans on recon. I hope not.
I don't think they can.
hope I
I
don't-
think there's some sort of, I don't know if it's the FAQ or in their
Yeah.
profile.
have to
I think
come
there's
on.
something somewhere about you can't merc in recon, or there's at least restrictions on it.
Yeah.
Here's an interesting one for you guys. When I was looking at the list, I was tossing up Grinner versus Captain day 2, which effectively comes down to strike versus march.
Yeah, probably go for the march.
I
day
think
2.
I think I went for the march, but Grinner also gives you an extra might.
Yeah, I think if you're
For
going down that
5
route,
points
I'd
more, I
probably go with the captain. Like Goblin King's already given you, I think, enough like strikeable might for a
I should
350.
confirm
On day
Goblin
2,
King
yeah.
does not
Yeah.
give you a march himself. I would be surprised. Mind
Yeah.
you, there's a king in the title. You never know.
Does
I'm
the
just gonna throw a spanner in the works and just say how I would have drafted this list. I just reckon no Goblin King. Just pure goblin. It's 120 points of goblins you could have got in this list. Try and break the 100 cap.
that would push you up to 100. That would gotta push you up to 100. Genuinely,
Good
that's
God.
feral.
Good luck winning Contest of Champions.
What a nasty piece of work. Roll enough dice.
Yeah.
Dice.
Table your opponent in contest.
Yeah,
Imagine having
genuinely.
Grinner in the Contest of Champions. You'd just be praying to versus Denethor or something. Even then, you're behind.
Huge.
Goblin King does not have much.
Okay.
The
mean,
mercenary
I
captain
guess-
have much?
Presumably.
Surely.
Merc Captain's got much, but you're probably chucking him in away
Yeah.
from the troops.
Yeah.
But
so
I
it's
guess
kind of
recon
irrelevant.
is also the scenario you want the
You
march
want
most
march
importantly.
and destroy the supply.
And presumably you'll
Yeah,
have it
that's
in recon. Yeah.
Yeah, and presumably you have it in recon, so maybe it's not. Maybe Grinner is a good option. A second strike's really good at 350 just to
Hmm.
burn might from their heroes and whatnot.
Well, I mean, a strike from fight 3 or something, isn't it?
I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's fight 4, right?
Is it? Okay.
Is it? Oh, maybe it's fight 3.
Sorry, who's that?
Grinner.
Brenner.
Yeah, I think it's fight 3. It's usually just a
But I
one
mean,
better
even a
than the
strike
other.
coming, if you're fight 5 and a strike's coming from fight
Oh, yeah.
3, you kind of, there's a decision to be made there, whether you, especially if you're trapped and whatnot, which presumably
If you're
you
trapped
are.
in things, which, well,
I think it's
Do we
more of
ha-
like
do
if
we
you've got
have-
your because they've got your big hero kind of engaged with Grinner. If Grinner's calling a strike, it requires you to make a decision. You're going to waste a point of might to call a strike then, or it's like a resource game there. So
Yeah.
hopefully Grinner can whittle down your opponent's big guys. So when the Goblin King does engage, because it will engage, he'll just completely one turn kill you.
I like the idea of taking a resistant to magic hero day 2 as well.
Yeah, it's strong.
Yeah, that's really good. Not very powerful list. I think, there's not a lot to say about Goblin Town. It is
No.
what it is. And
Come on, Return of the King, Legendary Legion fight the next 3 lists.
Here we go.
Of that
Oh,
terror.
no, not quite.
No.
Something perhaps more terrifying. Jenny, it's your turn. What is this list?
This is kind of a doppelganger of another list I versed from, I think, someone similar looking to this individual. So we've got Moria here. So we've got Goblin Captain with Shield, Warband 1. He or she is leading 5 Goblins with Shield, 5 Goblins with Shield and Spear, a Warg Marauder, and a Bat Swarm. Warband 2 is something called Growblog, who's leading 6 Prowlers, 6 Goblins with just a Spear. Warband number 3 is a Goblin Captain, not taking anything, but he's leading, or she's leading, 4 Goblins with Spear and Shield, 3 Goblins and Spear, 2 Prowlers, 1 Goblin with Shield, a Goblin Drum, and I think that's the entire list. Oh, wait, no, there's 200 points here. Watcher in the Water is also being added into that list. So that looks like a fun and interactive game that everybody will be excited to play.
Watcher in the Water is like
Bat
50
Watcher.
points per word.
It's still undercosted.
It's still
Should be
undercosted.
the Watcher in the Water, and it would still be undercosted.
Yeah, that would be on that. Hypothetically, you think if there are a pair of twins and one played day 1 and one played day 2, do you think you'd notice?
I think when suddenly it started coming right on day 2, I think you'd notice that. Yeah.
I might convince them to give that a go sometime. No, cool list. I like it.
Cool list. It's got a
Watcher
Watcher and a Bat
Watcher in the
Swarm.
Water's,
I
tough
mean,
to use.
yeah.
You
If
have
you
to
can
sort
get
of
that
know the
combo off,
tricks and yeah. I'm sure he's getting a training session in
He's
beforehand.
going to need one, I think.
I like the addition of the Prowlers.
I was going to say that. The Prowlers are sick. That's going to be great fun.
So not the first time I've suggested lists should take Prowlers, right, Danny?
Hey, 8 Prowlers is too many. Those neg ones are just going to be so annoying.
These guys have a
you
mere
were just
+2
saying
to
how the
wound
New
one.
Zealand meta, we need to encourage more turn defense.
In Angmar lists. Interesting pick taking the Goblin Captain with Shield as the leader.
Contest of Champions.
Exactly. Assassination, you're all good. If you're not winning, if you're not 12-0 assassination with this, then the other twin is the better twin. I'm sorry. Dom. Watch now as he gets me on Saturday with assassination and tables me. Yeah, so anyway, Goblin Captain with Shield, that's the interesting thing for me. Maybe once we see the 350 list, we'll see why Growblog wasn't chosen, who I think is Heroic Defense.
Should we have a look?
Yeah, let's have a look.
Do you keep the Watcher? Apparently you do.
I presumed it was just get the March in day 2, to be
Okay,
honest.
so for those people listening on the things where you can't see things, Goblin Captain with 5 Goblins and a Shield, then 5 Goblins with Shield and Spear, a Warg Marauder, a Bat Swarm, and then a Watcher in the Water. The Goblin Captain seems to have lost his
stand by
shield
my
on day
comment
2.
for day 2.
It's outrageous.
Is a Watcher in the Water is still 50 points per word day 2. How many models is that?
I think it goes to a
13,
heady 14.
15?
Is the
16?
Marauder
The Marauder.
3?
Yeah, I
Or-
think, I think
Right,
that's
okay.
if you dismount, maybe. It might be one of those situations. Like if you actively dismount, you get.
He's putting
feel like
14 things on the
list
board
should
anyway.
be fairly easy to break.
What makes you say that?
I don't know. Having land goblins, they don't stick around for a while, and then when you break, they
They've got that goblin
definitely don't
captain
stick around.
to do the stand fast. That should be all good.
That's true.
I
Yeah,
think by
it's
the
all
time
good.
you break this list, that Watcher and Batswarm have just wreaked absolute havoc.
Absolutely.
On
Watchers, he gets nothing but
maybe you're a
ones on the
Lidl or
Watcher
something.
roll off for day 2.
As someone
The
who's
one-
taken one very big leader, Sam, how are you feeling about these lists so far?
I mean, I
Like Gorolf and
have
Amar,
actually been reasonably comfortable thus far with my Fortify Spirit, but this thing makes me deeply, deeply nervous. Fortunately, my average troop can still beat his leader, so I'm not, as nervous as perhaps I would be if this was a slightly different setup, but still. Yeah.
I actually really like it. How does Watcher work in Recon? Do you just run them off the board? Is that too much points to do?
Not sure there. But the thing is, with a 12-inch Bat Swarm and a 10-inch Warg Marauder, if the Watcher is the thing trying to crawl its way to the board edge, you
4
haven't had
inches
the
at a
best
time.
game. Yeah.
4 inches at a time.
That's below average.
That's a long game. How wide's the board? It's only 12 solid turns of moving at a straight line unimpeded. That's
How does it work if a Marauder gets off? Like the turn before you get off, can you dismount? And then wander a few people off? Is that an option?
I think it depends if a Warg Marauder counts as 3 for your model count or not.
Right.
I'm not sure.
I actually don't know.
Shoot that one, folks.
To answer.
I'm sure the person running the list will have the answers.
Definitely.
Are your bows at the Marauder? Day 2.
But yeah. No, I just want to point out it's a very strong day 2 list actually, if you think about the scenarios there.
It's also an incredibly just fun list, right? This just looks like an absolute blast to play.
To play, not to play against.
Can any of us say that we're ready with our 350-point lists to deal with a Watcher and a Bat Swarm? I don't think any of us can honestly say we're equipped to deal with that. So let's see what happens. Right, next up. Oh, here we go.
Yeah,
the mighty
the
NZ meta is back. Damien is with us in spirit. The Wolves of Isengard. Here they are. Right, we have. Sorry for the very small writing here. It's a very long list of things. Shaku with a Warg and a shield, 2 Warg riders with shields and throwing spears, and one Warg rider. One Warg rider, say that fast, with a banner, a shield, and a throwing spear. Then we've got an Orc captain on a Warg with a shield, 2 Warg riders with shield and throwing spear, and 1 Warg. Then we've got that same warband again, twice more. So that's a total of 3 Orc captains with 6 Warg riders and 3 Wargs. Then we've got Orc captain with a Warg and a shield, 2 Warg riders with bows and a Warg, and that warband again. So that's 2 Orc captains with 4 Warg riders with bows and 2 Wargs. And then finally, an Orc shaman on a Warg with 2 Warg riders and Orc bows. So that's a total of what? 5 captains, a shaman and a Shaku.
2 things jump out at me straight off the bat. Number 1, have you considered ever ringing up bingo, Sam? Because I think Warg riders with T-Spear should be a bingo term. Yeah, 2 Warg riders.
2 Warg riders.
And number 2, I'm just a big fan of the term T-Spear to whoever wrote this. I'm going to adopt that. I'm definitely using T-Spear from now on.
It's about saving space. That's what it's about when you're doing these very artful PowerPoints.
Yeah, because you can see we were, space was a premium here.
Sorry, it will all become clear to you. I'm going for consistency. Anyway, we're not talking about that. Stop it. 27 models here, folks. All of them are moving quite fast.
27?
I believe it's 27. Maybe I'm wrong with that. Maybe I made that up. No, that's 27.
Yeah, they've just gone for the might rather 14 than the troops.
Might?
14.
That's a lot. Yeah.
A mere 10 marches, though. Will that be enough, do you think?
I hope they've got a game plan for assassination, trying to differentiate the Orc captains.
Oh, it's that Orc shaman with the transfix is going to come in clutch, you see.
Yeah. Maybe you just get to write down Orc captain with Warg shield and just whatever one you feel claim it was that one.
That's how he wins tournaments, ladies and gentlemen. This is the tricks of George Costello revealed.
I'm sure it's Orc captain with Warg shield 1, Orc captain with Warg shield 2. Sorry, with T-Spear maybe.
T-Spear.
Yeah.
I'm stoked. We've got 27 Warg/Warg riders here, and 7 of which are heroes. Like, how cool is
I've
that?
never seen the like mass orc captain approach to this list. It's
No.
kinda
No, neither.
I mean, not that I've seen this list a lot, but the
We've
few that I
it's
have-
probably the most
I
popular
like
list
this.
we've reviewed, to be honest, George, if you think
Yeah.
about it.
It's a mass amount of strength 4
Mm.
or like mightable heroes on the charge. It's very strong. And how many bows do we get? 6 bows. They're
6
not going to do
bows.
too much, but I mean, you might as well have them. You need
A lot
somebody
of
who's sitting on
T-spears.
objectives. It's a lot of
9
T-spears.
T-spears, in fact.
I
What
mean,
do
the
you
thing
think
is,
about the wargs with outriders?
objective grabbers and symmetry, of course, for warbands.
Which is very important.
I think so.
Genuinely.
I'm not sure what the special rule is, but it's like you roll a d6 or something, and that many troops come on before the game
That's
in
right.
Maelstrom. Maybe it's something to do with that. Maybe like captains can't come on, or I don't know.
Right.
This thing throughout the entire day 1 is just going to be moving first. Like maybe you'll want a few roll-offs for the first couple of heroic moves. But after
just
that,
decide.
they are just, they
Yeah.
can decide the pace of the game and what's going to happen.
100%.
Yeah.
It's obviously very good in Maelstrom, but I do think it might struggle a bit in Assassination. Like, as you have so many orc captains right combating to whatever target they want to hit.
Then when they get
Not
there,
even
though,
just Assassination, but I think Contest. Like we've seen Shaku do great work after it dies.
Do you get those contest kills?
Yeah. I'm not
Do
sure.
you get
you
post
must,
death kills?
you must
surely.
He's done that, hasn't
he? That'd be cool if your hero died, but then like on death got enough kills just to like
push you over the
cover
edge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Shaku take down another Huron.
I'm excited to see what this chose to bring at 350.
I'm not sure if
think,
we've got a single Huron. Here we are. Oh, shit.
Spoilers.
Sorry, pardon me. Sorry.
Do we
Shaku,
pardon, George?
2 captains, and a shaman. And then half a dozen Warg riders and a couple of Wargs.
Yeah, I think it's probably about what you wanted. There's no way you're getting a third heroine.
It's just Riders of Theoden, isn't it, really?
Is the shaman worth keeping? Probably. I mean, it's definitely worth keeping based on what we've seen. We've seen lots of Terra so far. Angmar and
Yeah.
various heroes and whatnot. How many models? 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 12 models, though, is relatively low. As someone bringing half that amount, I'm going to say 12 model is low. But
Yeah. I think you're
4
taking more than
heroes.
just 5-4.
Yeah, that's true. The 5-4 is an issue.
Yeah.
And the
But
4
it's
heroes.
also
tend to
destroy the
move.
supplies and recon.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's to the death with a mana.
Yeah.
It's sort of more than happy in a lot of those.
Yeah.
Breakthrough, it's got a lot of speed to get to its objectives. It's got a lot of punching power. It's got a lot of heroic combating. No, I like it. I think it's going to be fun.
It's going to be fun for sure. Stoked.
All right, what do we got next?
Riders of Theoden.
I don't
Right.
like this.
I was about to say this is my list, but it isn't.
No, it's not.
I've been duped.
So
I can read this one out.
Yeah, go on, go for it.
So we do have Riders of Theoden. It is Theoden plus an armored horse plus heavy armor and shield.
Took you a while to figure that out.
Yeah, I was
Four
four royal guard with horse and T-spears. We have 1 rider with a T-spear and 1 rider with a banner and a T-spear. We have Aemir on an armored horse with a shield and 4 riders with T-spears. We have Gambling on horse with the royal standard and 3 riders with T-spears. And finally, we have Durnhelm. So it's the four. Sorry, that really got me. It's the 4 hero variant, which I think is kind of cool, just to tend to get a few more riders that way. It's only 4 royal guard is interesting, and going for more riders, giving you a bit more shooting through it, especially with the T-spears all over the place.
T-spears are key.
T-spears are key.
What do you think
No,
about
I quite like
the
it.
T-spears on the riders?
I think it maybe not on the banner. I think there's definitely room to drop it on the banner, but on the riders, I think it's underrated. I think lots of people fall into the trap of they've got bows, they don't need the T-spears. They can just shoot at their range, but a T-spear is significantly different to a banner. It plays very differently. There's a lot different threat to a bow. Sorry, not a banner. So I quite like it. I think they're a good way to fill in points as well.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's like 16 points of T-spears around that, just for the normal riders. And what's that? Like maybe one more
What do you
rider?
guys think of the hero choices? Is the 4 you guys would go for? No, obviously there's the exclusion of Day of Wine.
Yeah, I want to see Day of Wine's
Alpha.
my key pick.
Yeah, I'd probably drop Gameling for Day of Wine.
Yeah.
Personally, that's just my play style because my Gameling got OTK'd by Madrill the first time I ever used it.
So the reason I really do like the gambling inclusion in this is specifically Contest of Champions having access to heroic defense is very, very good. And one interesting thing that I ran into, which I think they've done the right way, is they've gone gambling with a banner, but it also kind of forces you to take another rider with a banner due to day 2 because you can't really afford to take gambling with a banner day 2. So there it is a 2-banner list effectively. But it means they can cut, I presume if they're keeping the banner for day 2, they can keep the rider with a banner.
Surely.
And drop gambling. Just the honest hand.
Should we have a look?
I really hope it's just gambling now.
Spot on. It's gambling.
yeah, no. It's sort of like a tax you have to pay day 1 if you want to take gambling, is you have to take a rider with a banner. I think the EME is very interesting though. It's like the inclusion of a very hard-hitting hero over something like Durnhelm or Day of Wine.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'd probably go Day of Wine just for the synergies with Théoden for day 2. But in saying that, Eomer is an absolute
he's so
beast.
good.
He's a great hero.
He's so like every time you roll in the other heroes, you're like they're probably going to fluff something.
Yeah.
You know, someone's striking it. Eomer, I just feel like you don't have those warriors. You're like D7. I've got 3
He can do it. He's got me covered.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, 100%. No, I like this day 2 list. It's definitely a cool variant how to play it. We guess we should talk about the list and the scenarios as well. Like it's going to be good in Destroy the Supplies, obviously. It's very good in Reconnoiter. They've got the banner for To the Death. It's an army that wants to get in, stuck in.
And then for day 1, it's got Eomer for Assassination. And Théoden's no slouch in contest, so that's all good. And then the Maelstrom one, I mean, you've got enough might there to bring them all together if you want, but if you've got enough movement there that even if you don't bring them all together, you'll be...
It's no secret that 8 models is not a lot day 2, though. I mean, granted, there's a list that can get away with it, but it's still a bit dicey, you know? You kill 5 riders, and it's broken. 2 of those riders are just standard riders of Rohan as well, you know?
Yeah, hence why I said my pick probably be day 1.
Yes.
In the list, and I'll take that for day 2, and then take a bit more troops as well.
Your numbers a bit,
yeah.
But no, Eomer is going to really do well against a lot of the middle tier heroes day 2 as well.
That worked day 2. Yeah, he's going to chop stuff up.
No, cool list. I like it.
Good boy.
As a new complete found love for Rise of Théoden. I don't think I'm ever playing any other list ever again. After Southcon, I just fell in love with this list, man. I sell all my other models and just play riders.
I'm looking forward to seeing your take on it rather than Denny's take on it. It's going to be good. Okay. I think this is probably my go now. Seamless. That we've got here, folks, the Rangers of Ithilien. This is possibly the first time seen since it was nerfed into the ground many moons ago. So we've got Faramir with a bow, leading 6 rangers, 5 rangers with spears, 1 Minas Tirith warrior with a banner and a shield, and Frodo with Mithril coat, sting and a cloak, Samwise with a cloak, and Smeagol. Then we've got Madrill leading 4 rangers and 3 rangers with spears. Damrod leading 3 rangers and 3 rangers with spears. And Anborn leading 3 rangers and 3 rangers with spears.
I think we also need a disclaimer. We all know who's running this list and how okay they will be for us bullying them for this list. I also, knowing who's running this, really hope they converted all their rangers with green stuff to have giant arms and chicken legs. Sorry, not sorry. No, this is textbook like rangers. I mean,
textbook rangers. Is this in front of you, Matt? Is it 34 bows? I think.
It's about 30 too many. I want to see.
Yeah. Genuinely unpleasant stuff.
It's just genuinely unpleasant, isn't it? You'd never look at this list and be like, my God, I want to play that.
34. I played this list precisely once. That was the same dude who's playing it this time, and he very kindly. He very kindly walked towards my Knights of Dol Amroth. And it was very gentlemanly of him.
I imagine you guys would have. I tabled him,
I think, actually.
I think a great game. His Rangers versus your Corsairs, where no one shoots. You both just walk into combat.
I think we were both much newer than we are now. I don't think we've made that mistake again, either of us. But
right.
I mean, it's 34 bows, frankly. I think. Am I right about that? Am I crazy?
34 bows. I say 34 combat threat. And I think that's how you should play them.
I see 5 4, strength 3.
Yeah. 34 combat
flag shooting. Just get stuck in.
I mean, really, when you're shooting, what are you going to get? You're going to hit 2/3 of your shots.
Thanks.
24 hits.
Whoever's running
4 wounds.
Don't worry about it.
Per turn? Waste of time.
Get involved, yeah. Waste of time.
4 wounds of shooting per turn? Man up.
You've got 4 heroes, 5 heroes. What are you doing? Get in combat.
6, 7 heroes?
Oh, yeah, true.
Frodo, Samwise, Smeagol, you know? A ring bearer?
7 mega heroes.
7 mega heroes. You've got some might, you know? Get in there and use it.
Can we just address the Anborn in the room? What does he do?
Is he the 3+1 might to his rolls each turn?
Or is he the Elven Cloak?
Oh.
Well, him and Damrod are both. Which one's Damrod then?
Damrod's
just a
cheap
1/1/1.
Yeah.
Oh. And
Mebling on the
one,
Ranger world. Yeah,
and
Mad Blood.
Mebling, yeah, that's right, yeah.
I think Anborn, I think you might be right. I think Anborn might be the
+1.
Yeah, the +1.
Yeah, cool.
All right, show us 350.
Everyone out here knows how Rangers works. That's 34 bows.
It somehow dropped all its bows through.
I'm really excited to see how. I know spoilers. I know how this list goes at 350 because you all know
you have to take
Frodo, Sam, and Smeagol. So, folks, drum roll, please. Literally, yeah. George, you were right. He's dropped the bows.
I take it all back. I hope it's just these 3 Rangers that have fucking jacked arms.
So we've got Faramir with 1 Ranger, Frodo, Sam, and Smeagol, Madril with 1 Ranger, and Damrod with 1 Ranger. Very much taking the de-escalation seriously.
Real Lone Ranger, Buzz. You only get 3 Rangers.
It's 1 to bodyguard each of the Frodo, Sam, and Smeagol.
I think it hits a heady
it's
9.
A theme, yeah.
A heady 9 models, I think, isn't it?
I think, as you said, Sam, this person's out to prove how awful this list now is after the nerfs.
I think you had me 100% sold at 650. I'm like, yeah, you know, that's a lot of bows. That's really good.
Yeah.
Oof. And this is
I genuinely thought there was still going to be like 10 to 12 Rangers or something.
Yeah, I thought you wouldn't go Damrod or 1 Ranger. You just fill up Madril's warband.
Or
shots.
Drop Madril, frankly.
Why is Madril there?
You drop Madril and fill up Faramir and Damrod, surely. Or Faramir and
there are
Anborn,
many ways
frankly.
that this list could be run.
Exactly right. At the end of the day,
probably want to keep that banner as well from day 1, considering 2 of the 4 scenarios on day 2.
All 3 Rangers for the banner.
Yeah,
Rangers banner. Jeez, no,
go from 30 something.
Literally nobody to
0.
carry it. Nobody to carry it anymore. It's just a banner. It's just a banner.
God.
I mean, the thing is, this gentleman may not beat us on the table, but could beat us in real life. So should we move on to the next list?
Yeah,
Right. Oh, well, that was easy. Okay, it's pretty straightforward. Folks, today we
Can I
have...
guess the 350 point list?
Yeah, it's controversial. Today we have Guai here leading 5 Great Eagles. And that's it. That's it. That's the list. And
does 5 seem like too many? Like, I know it adds
unsurprising.
up, but it sounds like too many.
it's quite a lot of Eagles, yes. That's a lot of birdies.
An unpleasant amount of Eagles.
Dealing with one of them, frankly, is a hassle. Dealing with 5 or 6 of them is not a good time. And at 350, Guai here and 2 Great Eagles for those of you listening on YouTube Premium.
It's probably what's our mate's name? Our one guy comment.
Harry?
Harry, yeah, Harry. He's got YouTube Premium.
He's all over us. Look, at the end of the day, folks, what you've got is you've got half a dozen Eagles at 650 points. And then somehow still 3 at 350. And just as I feel few of us were equipped to deal with a Watcher at 350, few of us are equipped to deal with 3 Great Eagles at 350. I think it's fair to say. This list, I believe, was brought last year, and the person who played it had great glory heaped upon them as a result. And so...
it is a really good day too. Like, reconnoiter, good luck.
It's a great day one as well. Guai here for both contest and also by default assassination is pretty rude.
It is missing a certain bird bath though.
It is
missing a certain bird bath, which means that Guai here can eventually be chipped away. I think for me, the bird bath would make it, honestly. And I'm just not sure without the bird bath whether this is still viable. But
at 350 points, I'm sure you have a lot of spare points to get in a bird bath.
You could go Guai here, a bird bath, and then have like 4 or 5 elves as well. And that just seems
and still outnumber as many ranges.
It just seems like a better list, frankly. It's Eagles, folks.
Yeah, moving on.
Flap.
Cool.
Flap. It's good fun. Ooh. When I was going through, can I say, when I was going through and doing this PowerPoint, I got all the way through here and I saw this number. You thought, that's a nerd list. When I saw the
chart,
list.
and the chart came out, I see there's only one person I know who's taking Serpent Horde.
Genuinely saw that straight away and thought, I can
pin this to the player.
Fun, interactive, interesting list. I think I'll go ahead and discuss it.
You read it, Jenny Zag.
Yeah. So we've got a Serpent Horde and Mordor fluffy alliance.
Nerd alliance.
Fluff. So Warband 1 and the leader, we've got Saladin with an armored horse.
Wow.
He is taking as many dudes with spear and bow as possible. So 9.
Absolute nerds in his warband.
This is real. It's not creative stuff, is it?
5 Serpent Riders.
And
4 guards.
That's more than average.
Cool. And then
is that it? It's more.
Oh well, there's a few more things here.
Interrupting Jenny's list?
Second warband, Shadowlord and a horse, who is leading 6 black numbs, 4 Morannons with shield and spear, and then warband number 3, we've got Gurut's.
Congratulations on your pronunciation.
Thank you. Who's leading 6 black numbs and 3 Morannons with shield and spear.
You just couldn't write a nerdier list.
It looks that good.
You just couldn't write a nerdier list.
I feel like if you just wrote down all the sort of things you need in a list in a little tick box column.
Yeah.
Jenny just at home went home with his big pen and ticked them all off one by one until he came out with this list.
Uncreative. Just, this is just the standard list, isn't it?
All right, it is a good list.
It's very good.
5 Serpent Riders though. It seems like a lot. Is it? It's for day 2. I'm assuming you're keeping 4 out of the 5, if not 5.
This is what it's like, folks.
That's a terrible idea. I've dropped all my Serpent Riders for day 2.
This is how Jenny and George work, guys. This is like
Saladin's banner, right?
An incredible chaotic decision is the decision to add 1 more Serpent Rider to the standard complement. Like, whoa, we got 1 more Serpent Rider. This is crazy.
The one talking
man's insane. Oh my god. And that's like
Sam, I want you to know, if Jenny had
everything
discussed
else.
this list with me, it would have been a month of that exact discussion of
We do
4 or 5
Oh,
serpent
four,
riders. I
4 or 5
guarantee you, he
serpent
was at
riders.
home being like,
Whoa.
I really wish I could talk to George about the amount of serpent riders I put on my list right now.
It's
Because
just,
it is a
You're
note.
not wrong. You're not wrong.
it's
He's
just
like,
good,
there's a
folks.
You're
noteworthy
not
amount.
wrong.
If,
And I
if
find
anyone
it
at
interesting.
home's
It's the
out there,
one topic you had. 'Cause it's all I wanted to talk to you about.
if anyone's out there in internet land thinking my life's no good, at least you're doing better than these two folks. You know, it could always be worse.
Yeah,
Day
you could
two.
get tabled 2 games in a row with 45 courses.
No, we're not doing this inside stuff, George. Come on, cut it out. Get professional.
Nice.
So
Day
that's how we
two,
announced it to the world.
Day 2, you've got Sutherland with his armored horse. You've got 5 Harad with things, 5 serpent riders, African
5.
guard,
5.
Rad with bow, and then Gertz with 6 black numbs.
Is it legal to drop that spear on day 2?
Not sure. I didn't get any.
What spear?
Lone Herod man with a bow and no spear.
Oh,
I checked the players pack. It had nothing
Yes.
about that.
I think is that 7 TO automatic default losses? I think in a
so.
row. Is that what you're getting here? Yeah.
I think
Um,
so.
I'm quite interested in your drops today too.
Yeah, I mean, I can talk through the
Yeah,
thoughts there.
no,
So
Please,
essentially,
nerd.
it's just going to be a. So I think 6 shots hopefully is enough to force some kind of engagement. It may not be enough against certain armies like elves or whatnot, but in that
Also
situation, I
poison
don't think.
shots though.
Yeah, but in that situation, I don't think going from 6 to 9 is really going to do anything. I think 6 is the right amount of bows that anything that I'm going to win the shoot off against, I'll win it, and anything that I can't win against it with 6 shots, I'm not going to win against it with 9 shots. So the idea is have 6 black numbs up front, supported by the Harads, and then with Fatty in the back as well, just to kind of, I don't know, go into anything. Yeah, exactly. Just to go into anything. Who needs, I don't know, 2-hand support. Yeah, and then I kind of had the 5 serpent riders behind that line, ready to do shenanigans, either taking objectives or just crashing in to the ranks of my opponent with the Saladin's 6-inch banner and all that poison reroll goodness with Fight 4.
Yeah, I mean they are Fight 4 cab with a
That's chewy.
6-inch banner, you know. That and there's 5 of them with
Poison
Saladin
Lance.
presumably
Yeah.
going with them. Phenomenal models. Run us through the Shadow Lord choice for day 1.
Shadow Lord choice for day 1.
Standard.
Weird. It's a weird rationale, but here it goes. I wanted to run assaults on Lothlorien Legendary Legion, but I could not make it work for day 2. And I was like, you know what? If I can't take assault, I don't want anyone else to benefit from being able to shoot at me on day 1. So I
took the
did
one
a tanty.
profile.
I took Shadow Lord, which is I think the one profile which stops. Not that there is any assault on Lothlorien legions in this tournament, but it's the one profile that kind of stops all shooting now. So I had a tanty, George. That's why the Shadow Lord is there.
No, I like it. I think it's good. It's like it's 650.
I mean, the interesting call. Would have you gone Gertz? Is that 3rd pick, or
I mean, who's
go
your other
Gorbag,
options?
or yeah?
I think Gertz is the right.
I think it's the right call.
You're doubling up on March. Not that that's the end of the world, but you know.
Yeah, hopefully never having to use Sullivan's
Sullivan. No, God no.
point for a
I
March.
think-
But yeah.
I think Gertz is good. He's adding a cheap 3 extra might, which is definitely what you want. It's at 350, getting access to that extra might. I think keeping all 6 black Numenorians is interesting. Maybe I would have gone a few more Abrachan guard just for a bit of punching power, but keeping the Terror is really good. I mean, the Goblin Town list is going to hate that.
It feels like with 5 serpent riders, surely you've got the punching power you need at 350.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
With a banner.
Yeah.
Sullivan's obviously just very good at 350 as well, with 2 banner BP scenarios at 350. More better banner to take than Sullivan. Maybe Boromir, but you know, Sullivan's the perfect price. He's phenomenal. I think he's sort of the obvious choice at 350 personally.
Absolutely.
He's got a lot of mobility to get off those objective games. No, I think it's really well done. This it's cool. And you're right. Six bows is either going to achieve what you want or they're not. And in a situation where they're not, you've got 2 marches to get there anyway.
Exactly.
Plus the cav, you know.
Yeah, and I kind of was anticipating a bit more Golden Town than we got. Just because I know there are a couple of Wellington players that do like to bust out the old Goblin Town, so that was part of the rationale for the Black Num frontline. Then, of course, it's a pretty good frontline to have. Interesting discussion point. Sorry, last one. Do you go for the 6 Black Nums? So you got the Terror, but only Strength 3, or would have you gone for 6 Morannons with Shield and Spear because they're the same points? So you get the Strength 4 rather than the Strength 3, but you lose the Terror.
I think you're going Terror. If you're committing to the taking the Mordor Warband day 2, I think you're committing it for the Black Numenorians. I think if you're really wanting Strength 4, you can just take the Abracans if that's the path you want to go down. I mean, I think they're also the same points. Granted, you lose the defense at the front, but if you're there for the T4. But I think Black Numenorians are not only providing Terror, they're providing the Fight 4 in your warband as well, which I think is crucial. And
That's exactly what Herod needs.
They provide some sort of courage answer. They're slightly better. I think they're good. They stack up well.
Sounds good.
Yep.
We like it, folks.
Day 1, you're happy. Got contest with Silverton. Assassination, you got a Wraith to do what you need to do.
The most important question, George, is are you happy playing this at Deso next year?
Do you know what the twist is?
Do you know what the twist is? That's true.
Depends if you can drop one Serpent Rider for me somehow.
Yeah, that's you joke, but that's actually where I spent the majority of time thinking on this for day 2 was the 4 Serpent Riders.
He genuinely stayed up at night wanting to message me. I guarantee you about the 1 Serpent Rider.
100% believe it, but I don't want our viewers seeing how sad we are in real life. So let's just move on before we get too deep into this.
I'm imitating art.
Next up, here we are at Khazad-dûm, the Kingdom of. So we've got Durin here leading 5 Halfguard, 3 Dwarf Warriors with bows, 2 Dwarf Warriors with shield, a Dwarf Captain with a shield and some throwing axes, not taxes. I thought people might get a bit funny if I did taxes. I just did throwing axes. Leading 4 Dwarfs with shield and 2 Dwarfs with bow. King's Champion with his heralds, leading 4 Dwarfs with shield, 2 Dwarfs with bow, and then a mighty Dwarven Ballista.
Is that the first siege weapon we've seen?
Must be, actually, yeah.
Yeah,
I personally really like the idea of the podcast being a Lord of the Rings crossover with taxes. Sort of
I can send you a video of the tax policy in Tolkien's universe. One sec. Whilst you guys discuss this, I'll send you through that YouTube video.
Thank you. I'll be sure to open it right away.
State of affairs.
I mean, do we need to say Durin Contest of Champions?
Titanic. Titanic force.
During just day 2. Sorry, I know we're talking about day 1, but just during day 2 was just
hell yeah, that's a scary concept. During full stop. Scary
364 days of the year.
Thanks. During 365.
He's still tracking on 363 and 364,
Can I inquire about the 7 Dwarf Bows and Dwarf Ballista?
No.
As a man who's ignoring that. As a man who's not an expert in a dwarf bow, what do you think? I mean, I look at that and I think it's quite a substantial proportion of dwarf bows for an army that's already got a blister in it, and not necessarily a massive preponderance of line infantry.
I think the thing about dwarf bows is because you're kind of foregoing any kind of movability with the army, you need something to put that pressure on. If you can't, like even a march, I think the captain's got a march. Like, what's that, 8 inches or something?
Not that something.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, it's a dwarf list, not that something. Like 7 dwarf bows.
I'm personally a fan of the bows. I think they work well.
Yeah,
I think although a dwarf ballista is something, a dwarf ballista forces engagement and brings them to you. Why not pounce on the fact that they have to come to you and load up on some bows? It's sort of you do 90% of the work of putting in the blister to forcing them to come to you. You may as well capitalize on the fact they have to do that.
I mean, I've only really seen one Khazad-dûm list this year from one player, and that player had a really good run with the ballista at Battle of the 5 regions. So maybe that's just the reason why it's in there. It's tried and tested.
Last time I had interaction with the dwarf ballista, it didn't go very well, so I didn't. I don't know, I've got a bad vibe against them, but maybe they're really good.
I'm curious you can take throwing axes on a dwarf captain. That's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Are they 5 points?
Yeah.
Must be.
I like it. It's fun.
I wonder if that King's Champion is coming over today too.
Yeah, I'm curious
That's
about that.
yeah.
Because
Drum
you
roll,
have to take
please.
Durin. Surely
Dun,
not.
dun, 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 dun,
Yeah,
dun.
too much money. That's most of your army.
See, and that's why I
Yeah,
think
who
it's
is
the
coming over?
emotional call of the Dwarf
You know
Ballista
who
day
is
too.
coming over
yeah.
on day 2, though.
I think if that Dwarf Ballista does not do well day 1, this player is not showing up to day 2.
Trying to read it out there.
Durin, 5 Hearthguard, 4 Dwarfs with Shield, 3 Dwarfs with Bow, and a Dwarf Ballista. Bang,
So,
bang,
no,
bang.
that King's Champion is not coming over.
He's
day
not
two.
coming over.
There's
He's
some-
been shunted out of the way.
There's some irony in the fact that day 1 has no banner VP scenarios and day 2 has 2 banner VP scenarios. You have 2 banners day 1 and none day 2.
There is some. I
There
see
is
the point,
genuinely
though.
no better way to do it. There's no way you can get King
No.
Champion.
And you want to have
But
the King's Champion. You don't want to turn
it
that
is-
down
it
day
is
1.
funny. Yeah, exactly. As someone who's done the exact same thing, but
Ironically, I think on day 2 I'd put 1 more bow in. So there you go. Some people are never satisfied.
I mean,
Maybe even a couple more, actually.
day 2 is just going to be interesting when you consider how I think all of the scenarios, except for to the death, requires some kind of maneuverability.
Yeah, it's true.
I think
It's
it's
gonna
going
be
to spend
interesting.
the last hour saying how much we love the speed in certain lists for day 2.
Yeah. I mean, if
Yes.
your opponent's taking a banner,
I think day 2 is just summed up by
Castle. Hide in the corner
maybe the
behind
twist
Durin.
is everybody gets a banner. You get a banner and you get a banner, and that's it.
Durin on day 2 though, just Durin.
Yes,
Just
How do you
to
deal
the
with that
death is-
at
yeah.
350
Yeah.
points?
that's gnarly.
Oh, it's cool.
Go
list.
for
I think it'll be fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope those little 5-inch leagues can run fast.
Oh dear. Alrighty, yeah, folks.
What have we got next? I can read it. Ooh, Thranduil's Halls. It's a Wellington event with a Thranduil's Halls list. I can only assume who's
I've
running
seen this list before.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all have, I think. Good fun.
Lovely painted.
We have Thranduil with heavy armor, sword, elk, and circlet of kings. We have 6 Mirkwood Cav. We have 3 Palace Guard with the shield and the spear, 1 Palace Guard with the shield. Then we have Legolas on a horse with the Orcris, 4 Mirkwood Elves with bow, Tariel with an elf bow, and 5 Mirkwood Elves with glaive, and 1 Mirkwood Elf with shield. Very, very good list, and I believe it made it to the final last year as well. Correct?
The 350 version did, which, if I recall correctly, is pretty much just that first warband of Thranduil. But spoilers when we get there.
I think it has Tariel.
No, I think
I'm-
it's 350 was Thranduil, and I think he moves the elves into that warband as
think you're
well.
Both wrong. But
Yeah, we'll get there when we get there.
We'll get there very shortly.
I think it's a great list just because. So it's the first one, Maelstrom Battle. So yeah, Thranduil was a nice little ball of death, which will cut through pretty much everything in the game.
Mhm.
But Tariel and Legolas, so Tariel can actually hold a corner herself. Pretty resilient, getting all those dice to save herself when she's being cornered. And then Legolas on a horse means he can just yeet whenever he wants to as well. So strong for that. Assassination, strong, having Legolas there, even Tariel as well, to do the damage there. And then contested champions. I do not want to verse Thranduil's Halls in contested champions, especially when that elf is on an elk.
Especially when Legolas is sniping out your hero.
Yeah, exactly.
Not with, I mean, we spoke about Denny's 5 Serpent card, not with his 6 Mirkwood Cav.
That's a lot of chop chop.
If I had 6 Mirkwood Cav painted this beautifully as well, I'd run 6 Mirkwood Cav. So
I mean,
they get the banner within 6 inches of Thranduil. So I mean, they're going to hit hard.
Is it 12 inches? It's a pretty big banner. So they will hit hard. They'll get the +1 if they're within 3 inches. But I don't know, the way you play it is Thranduil can just pop into somewhere, make the circuit go boom. Everyone's on the ground, and then the 6 Cav are taking probably around 4 shots. on every single model without any risk of getting damaged themselves.
I'm interested in the choice to run Orchrist. Not something I would have gone for. I tend to dodge it where I can.
I
But
mean, you can get one
especially if
more
you're
elf
taking it
for
over.
it.
Yeah, but if you're taking it over to day 2,
I mean,
You
I
find
think
out.
if you're taking one more elf for it, it depends if you've got another nicely painted elf or if you've hit your nicely painted elf cap already here.
Let's see.
I
Here are the
swear this had
bows.
Tariel last. Yeah, I think it's
That was a year ago.
maybe
There you
I'm
go.
wrong.
I'm impressed that the man's somehow managed to have almost as many models on day 2 as he does on day 1.
Swear he had a banner. Is there no banner on the
There's no
list?
banner. There's
No banner.
in day 1.
Interesting.
I'm just
Yeah,
looking
us-
at how many more Mirkwood Elves it is than Rangers of Gondor in that other list.
So who went through this list? Do you want to quickly go through the 350?
So for those listening on YouTube Premium, obviously, we have three
Only
angel,
our true fans.
with all the gear. We have 4 Palace Guard with Shield and Spear, 4 Mirkwood Elves with Bow, 3 Mirkwood Elves with Glaives, and 2 Mirkwood Cav. I like the drop down to 2 Mirkwood Cav. 2 is
Yep.
enough to sort of give you the
Yeah.
speed in those
Exactly.
objective scenarios we've been talking about.
Still got the elk.
And then they've done the right thing of just try to keep the numbers high and keep Thranduil to do his thing.
Mhm.
We've been talking all episode how we expected one massive hero with a full warband, and this is pretty much that.
George, just because I'm a narcissist and I want to make it about me. 4 Mirkwood Owls with bow on day 2. Does that outshoot 6 Harad bows with a D6 front line? It's
Does Thranduil
harder.
have a bow?
You have to pay 5 points for it. So
It's
I don't
not on the
think so.
list. Wasn't added.
I think I'm paying 5 points for a bow day too, by the way.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
like
think
day
so.
1 and 2. I don't know. I'll let you do the math on that one, Danny.
Yeah, I will. Don't worry.
I'm curious. Do you think there's an argument for dropping any war gear on Thranduil? Like, are you ever considering dropping the sword here?
I don't think you can drop between days.
Not between
So
days,
you're
no.
getting it. So the
Sorry.
way that I run Thranduil is contentious. I don't bother with a mount. I'd rather have those 20 points and 2 more elves.
So did you say the way you run Thranduil is incorrect?
Yeah, I
It
think
sounds
so.
like it,
Anyway,
incorrect, yeah.
let's not have that discussion because we'll be here all night.
Okay, but forget the mount. Is there a world where you drop a sword or a circlet just to sort of have more numbers there too?
No.
Or no?
No, you don't fight 7 extra attack
Not the sword, definitely.
in the circuit. Just the I mean, you always say how good bodyguard is. You can't then say bodyguard's amazing, but then don't take the thing that causes terror.
To be fair, like I said, I played this last one in the final game, and Thranduil ran riot on some Courtiers.
Mm.
So
Can imagine.
no, it's a very strong list.
Very
and
strong
the
list.
player knows how to use it. Is very experienced with it.
And it looks nice. So
It's very
What's not to
Did we
love,
mention it's
no?
very pretty?
Yeah.
All right.
We should say 4 Palace cards. Probably the right amount of Palace cards to take there.
Oh, you're trying to roll me up.
It is. Do you disagree?
I reckon. I don't know if I had 4 nicely
Sorry,
painted
Sam. You were
Palace guard
so
like
close
that.
to going.
I
to
was.
this list.
The cursor is hovering, boys and girls. We're talking
So
about how
go-
well
sorry,
painted the
Jenny,
models
Jenny,
are.
real
We're
quick, let's
off
start
topic.
through this.
No, it's okay. I was just going to say I'd probably take 4 on day 1, but I might drop it down to 2 on day 2.
Really?
I mean, you don't need that much fight 6 on day 2. Would be my argument.
It's so awkward you being wrong about so many things in this list.
How about I stick to running the list, George? You just play them. You just roll those pretty little dice of
All right,
yours.
get a room.
Get
Get
your
a room.
sixes.
I'm clicking it on. We're moving on. This is getting. That's why I should indulge you two. This is why I should just click the button. All right.
All right, go. It's going to make a Pussycat Dolls reference there, but I don't think that would have landed with the majority of our audience.
When I grow up,
We
I
don't
want
know,
to be
we don't know what
famous.
Harry listens to.
Lothlorien and the Fellowship. We have
I'd listen to
Galadriel.
that band. I would listen to that band.
Galadriel leading 6 Wood Elves. I'll mute you. I will genuinely mute the 2 of you. God is my witness. Galadriel leading 6 wood elves with T daggers. See, we've got a new
You were
T thing as
fine
well.
with T dagger.
And spear.
But not-
At least it's not taxes. I thought Jenny's just going to freak out if he sees taxes on the screen. 4 times wood elves with bow and spear.
I'm being audited, okay? Once the audit is over, I'm more than happy to share my taxes.
Genuinely muting you both. 2 wood elves with T daggers, 1 wood elf with a T dagger, a spear, and a banner, and then 1 wood elf sentinel.
I
Then
want
we've
a T banner.
throwing banners, and then we've got Haldir with a bow and an elven cloak, leading 6 wood elves with throwing daggers and spears, 3 wood elves with bow and spear, 2 wood elves with throwing daggers, and 1 wood elf sentinel, and then the love struck Gimli with an elven cloak, who's gone completely native.
Yeah, I think Gimli should go completely naked just to keep a theme.
He's got to drop the dwarven armor. Yeah.
Yeah,
You could have
drop it.
-3 defense on Gimli, please.
George is
Do you
over
think
this.
Do you think a Gimli with -3 defense still table Sam at the end of that game? Or?
He rolls a 6, but that's what he need to do. He rolled the 6. What can I say? Anyway, this is actually, if you look very closely and squint at this list, it looks very similar to one that I think all of us fell madly in love with.
Yeah.
Around the time of the Battle of the Five Regions.
There's no other madman playing Pajama Elves.
Surely not Jammer Elves. Although he has picked up, he decided he needs at least 1 armored unit, and he's gone with the mighty Gimli.
Just giant tank.
Everyone's going to be like, there's going to be a conga line. Every model's going to be standing behind Gimli to try and get that D8 in the way.
Couldn't quite get Durin in, so settled for Gimli.
I mean, can we just say bold man taking Galadriel with contest?
True that, actually.
But Gimli with assassination, or Howdy with assassination. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, they're both good. 2 Sentinels is very nice. I like that.
Sentinels is cool. Yeah.
A lot of T daggers.
A lot of pew pew.
Yeah, how many bows? Is it? It's not maxed out on bows, right?
Should be,
Nowhere
right?
near.
7
It
bows
should be.
plus Haldir.
Okay, no, that's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh no, I missed the.
Could get a few more in there.
I like it.
I love 2 Sentinels so much.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Sentinels got bows.
absolutely.
9 bows. Yeah.
Yeah,
I just
9
love
bows
it. There's
plus 7.
75 points of just Sentinels and a banner. It's such a ballsy investment. I love it.
This is an interesting one. What do you guys think is coming over to day 2? Just
Here we go.
Galadriel's Warband.
Gimli.
This is possibly my favorite bit about
Why not?
my favorite bit of the whole thing. Is just spot on. He's coming.
Yes.
He is there. He is there.
I love it.
To see now, genuinely, hold on, can I say genuinely? I think, as an actual fact, having Gimli there in day 2 raises the average defense of the entire army by a full point, I think. Just he's D8 amongst all the D3. He just pulls them up. What a great New Zealander. Galadriel, 4 wood elves with throwing daggers and spears, 3 wood elves with bow and spear, 1 wood elf with a throwing dagger, spear, and a banner, and Gimli with an elven cloak.
I quite like the idea
Bosh.
of you look at something like Lothar and you'd be like, man, I need to get some speed in here. What can I do? All right, I can ally
Gimli.
something in.
Yeah.
You sort of missed the mark allying in Gimli, but
He's not there for speed.
Legolas and Alf keep the theme, you know.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
keep them in
exactly.
pajamas, maybe give them a horse. No,
No,
Gimli.
there's big theme. It's love struck Gimli and
yeah,
Galadriel.
no, it is love.
It's
I
big
really
theme.
hope Gimli's converted into a pair of pajamas. Though.
Yeah, I really hope so as well.
Don't know how
He's
you
so
make that
good.
conversion, but I'm hoping.
Is it all tight around the chest?
Can't get the last button up. We've all been there. It's very relatable on this podcast. I like
Oh,
the
we have moo-moos
banner
now.
over.
Yeah, the banner's good. The banner's good to see.
Only 3 bows is a bit.
I mean,
Do
that
I,
is your
do, I,
low limit.
do I outshoot that?
That's your limit.
Yeah, we're not
you
playing this game every Thursday.
They got blinding light day too. You dropped yours. You're not
Yeah,
out shooting this, buddy.
Yeah, it's true.
You
And
gave up.
actually, what's the last one? To the death. Trying to take out Galadriel with 3 fate,
Genuinely
3
to the
reroll.
death.
Yeah,
to
it's
the
pretty
death
hard.
against this list is very hard. Like blinding light as well. Like it's gonna sit in the corner and you're gonna have to try Try and break through the
Just
conga line of Gimli at the front.
Good luck, buddy. That's cool.
Oh, cool. That's
Oh,
like,
what?
that's a
Sorry,
really
Gimli
cool theme
does
as
have the
well.
pajamas. He's got a cloak. That's keeping him with the theme.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's
Can't
a
even see him to shoot
D8
him.
cloak. I don't know what pajamas you wear to bed, but why not D8?
Chainmail
I actually
PJs.
don't
No one
wear-
else,
no,
surely. It's the leather PJs. All right, I think this is
Yeah.
cool, and I once again, mad respect to you, dude, for bringing this list. Big props, big props. We love you. Shout outs to our Wanganui fam.
We already had this last time.
We had this list. Hang on a second. And for those of you who want any video editing tips so that you can make seamless transitions like this, I have a masterclass available on my Patreon. Folks, this is another Goblin Town list we have here. In brief, it's the Goblin King with 12 goblins and Old Gollum. Everything starts with G. It's so hard. Grinner with 12 goblins. The Goblin Scribe with 6 goblins. A Goblin
Sound that out
Captain
your head, Sam. Sound that
with
out
10
your head.
goblins. A Goblin Captain with 10 goblins. And a Goblin Mercenary Captain with 15 Goblin Mercenaries. So as far as I can tell, I think this one is about 72 goblins instead of the 80 we saw last time. And I
Who
think an extra
owns 15 Goblin Mercs? Who? Sorry, this is
It's
triggering me.
it's irrelevant
Who
past 60 how many
owns
goblins it is, right?
15 Goblin
Sure.
Mercs.
Does a goblin merc have any difference in profile to a goblin?
I think it's an extra defense.
Is it?
But dollar-wise,
armor,
it is a
don't they?
lot more expensive.
Oh, so you do. Well, I was just thinking, do you actually need to differentiate them? But there's an extra
Yeah, I'm
defense.
pretty sure Goblin Mercs have got the
That little scrappy.
the
bit of-
armor.
yeah.
I hope I'm as excited as everyone else to see somebody trying to squeeze 16 models into a terrain
what
piece.
terrain pieces are we
It's
playing
gonna
with
be
here?
it's gonna
How are
be
we getting all these goblins into?
it's gonna be just a very careful balancing act for about 25 minutes or
Very
so.
excited for this person to deploy their 15 goblin mercenaries normally on the board edge.
It's gonna take 7 or 8 turns to get them all unentangled from whatever forest you put them in.
15 Goblin Mercs.
15 goblin mercs, eh?
I think you're just converting and you're doing
Yeah,
something.
you're hoping so. Dollar for dollar. That's
It's more than a wee pop up take an objective surprise, isn't it, at that point in time? It's a pop up. Holy Christ, Jesus wept.
it's like a third of the army just out in reserves the entire game.
Genuinely. Well, actually, it's still only about a fifth of the army in the end because there's just the enormous horde.
I'm going to have so much respect if they're taking all 15 goblin mercs over to today too.
Come on, all right, let's see.
Yeah, do it.
How many?
You get no respect from George.
Goblin King, 9 goblins, and Gollum, Grinner, 8 goblins, and the Goblin Scribe, 6 goblins. Respect from me for taking the Goblin Scribe on day 2.
There's nothing worse than at 350 you've killed what 27, 30 goblins or something, and it's just still more coming on.
There's a 100% chance this person is going to spawn more goblin models with the Goblin Scribe alone than any of us 3 are going to have in our full whole armies on day 2.
Yeah.
We're going to be outnumbered just by free troops alone.
I love the discussion with the other list was, do you take Grinner or do you take the extra bit of March? But we're like, oh, we'll take Grinner because you get the like ambush stuff to take
Yeah, no, this
terrain.
one's
And
really
this one's
hoping.
just like, yeah, you're making a very slow crawl across
This
the
list needs
board.
to align Gimli for speed or something. Because this also has very little legs.
Yeah, unless that scribes run down the marching order.
It's a Goblin Scribe, yeah.
I
It's going to be
like
just like a wave of goblins advancing across the battlefield. Every 6 inches is going to be a line of a half a dozen of them. Every 4 inches.
He's just praying they don't reach your board edge.
So
Those
they're not
6 little
stopping.
Haradrians with bow.
Is the difference between this and the last list the scribe? Did the last
Yeah.
one have scribe?
The
Yeah,
Scribe
no,
had it,
it
but
did.
not on day 2. The
Scribe, right.
and the last one had 1 fewer captain on day 1. So it squeezed some more troops in. This one hasn't really taken advantage of the extra warband size,
Scribe.
which I guess, what's the difference between 72 and 80, really?
Yeah, exactly. That is. I mean, they got their 15 mercs and the 1 warband.
Exactly. Heinous. That's a crime against humanity. I love it.
That is more than just a pop up behind you, isn't it?
It's all of a sudden it's holy hell. Yeah.
There's a second army behind me.
Yeah. I've only played against Goblin Mercs in form of warband of 6 or 8 or something. And that's an annoying surprise. Whereas this is like a major threat at this point.
Yeah, it's interesting just going from my whole life where scribe is usually associated with not many, if any, and now it's associated with the opposite of that.
Apologise to all YouTube Premium
All,
members having to hear that.
all our non-New Zealand subscribers are going to be just completely befuddled at this point. What is this man
You're trying to tell me
talking
Scribe
about?
didn't make it overseas then.
He got halfway there and he got, unfortunately.
I heard a stereogram song on the radio this morning as I was going into work. Anyway, sorry, as we were. Spotted by Element of He.
All right. I'm not even going there. I'm just pressing the button. This is
I'm so happy you did that.
this is the best list.
Can you go back one and then come back to this because I just didn't react well enough.
Sorry,
the first
okay,
time.
okay.
Right, take two.
How good.
There we go.
How good.
Use
How
take
good.
two. Use take two.
Can I
Take
just
two.
say-
we'll
can I
edit
say-
that one out.
Bill the poniest pony. This was not my wording. This is the man who submitted the list. That's how we described it.
Is Bill the leader or is that just a?
He's not, but I just thought he's so important that he has to
But
go
he
to
should
the top.
Put him up the top.
Yes. I think Gandalf
Show,
probably
show of
should, he has
hands.
to be the
Does
leader.
anyone have Bill the Pony tattooed on themselves in this group?
Sorry, we're missing someone there?
George, I don't think you understand. If
Is
you've
it
got
George
a tattoo of a pony, of My Little Pony on you, you're supposed to raise your hand.
Oh, My Little Pony. Oh, well, sorry. in that
all
case.
three are.
In that case,
Sorry, that wasn't clarified there, did it?
it's their
I don't have
logo.
Bill the Pony. I have Bill the Poniest Pony.
The poniest pony. So I'm going to read this list out. I'm going to read this list out because this is incredible. For the first time, I think in MESVG worldwide history, we've got a Fellowship of the Ring plus Wanderers in the Wild alliance. We've got the mighty Bill the Pony, the poniest pony. We've got Gandalf on the cart. Who else is
Why
with
would
us
you
already?
bother with the cart when you have the pony?
Incredible. We've got Frodo with coat, sting, cloak, and ring. Yeah, sure. Samwise in his cloak. Then we've got, holy Toledo, Tom Bombadil. And
Imagine TOing this tournament because I couldn't with this shenanigans.
incredible. And Goldberry as well. What
Last in
a
assassination.
turnout for the books. I am just in awe. Bill the Pony is absolutely the assassination target here, folks. By the way. This is
For morale. For morale. in
Just-
this
Are you
house.
sure it's not Tom Bombadil?
this is just incredible. This is superb. I mean, how
Just go
good
after-
is this?
Go after Goldberry, the person you can't ever kill.
Yeah.
Literally,
As I
both
said,
immune.
as someone not TOing, this is an amazing list.
Amazing.
As someone
list.
hosting an event, I would not allow this.
Don't
There's
want
just
to deal
so
with
many
it.
questions.
Okay, can someone run me through half of the rules for this stuff? Tom Bombadil. He
think
restores
They
stuff,
essentially have
Yeah, they
points of
restore
will.
and they're banished as well.
Yeah.
right?
They
Is
have
it still
points
the
of
case
will
they
and they
can't be
have to
killed?
use the will.
Yeah, can't be killed, can't be
Can't be
hurt,
killed.
can't be wounded. Whenever they're in a combat, they lose a point of will like a wraith, but they always win the combat. No one strikes.
Hypothetically,
They can't be
Fog of
charged or
War,
anything.
Can you protect them?
What was it, sorry?
Like Fog of War, could you just say I'm protecting?
That's the interesting thing. I've heard in other podcasts that either TOs make calls about that or there is an FAQ or something.
Right. I mean,
But I've heard differing
let's
things
not
as
explore
well.
that because that's not going to come up here, but it is interesting.
Yeah. I mean, for
Um,
assassination, it potentially could, but
I mean, who's choosing?
It's choosing
like,
Tom
you-
If
Bombadil.
Bill's there.
yeah, true.
What is the
Sorry.
cut? 12 inches. I'm
No,
assuming it
not
doesn't
12
do
inches.
impact
It's like
hits,
10 inches. It does some firework shots.
but no impact hits.
No,
No impact hits, no.
it's just like a 4+,
That's a damn
like a strength 3 hit or something.
Because Bill the Pony does the impact hits, I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. He's like a Mahud raider.
Impacts our hearts.
He's got little like spears on the side of him.
That's
The
just
theme, I want to see
incredible
Bill the
stuff.
Pony just kill the Watcher.
I'm sorry to whoever took the Wood Elf Gimli list. You've lost the title of the Maverick
You actually
list.
have, yeah. This is blown out of the water by this. They're probably mates.
Poniest of lists.
This is probably Whanganui meta. I love this. Phenomenal.
Okay,
Now-
give us day two. 'cause
Let's hope we've got Tom. Can we get Tom
What
Bombadil day 2? Tom Bombadil day 2. It's all I want to see.
I want to see Bill.
I want to see Bill.
We've got it.
Yeah.
Bill, Gandalf, and 2 hobbits on day 2.
What more could you want?
Maybe
delete it.
you could potentially want more than having to kill Frodo, Sam, and Bill to break your list, but
Oh, but emotionally, an opponent cannot kill those models.
yeah.
I don't have it in me.
I
would
know
concede,
for a fact
take
that's
this
not true.
person's hand and go to the pub.
Surely our long-time viewers all know Denny doesn't really have emotions. That's not. Denny will
I can
kill
get
Bill and
I get
Gandalf
sleepy
for a win
sometimes.
quite happily. It's sleepy sometimes. I made sure to look up that Tom Bombadil and Goldberry will disappear if you can kill the other 4 models. That's the strategy right there, folks. If you can just butcher the most loved characters in the game, Tom
and
Bombadil and Goldberry just vanish.
Really?
Yep.
I like how you looked up a strategy to beat this.
And then you win 12-0.
The first thing I looked at was like, how the hell do you deal with those two? You can just kill everything else. And in this case,
Right.
killing everything else is reasonably achievable.
Just morally.
Morally reprehensible.
Whatever.
But
With Bill
doable.
giving back things on a 5+, I don't think so.
Yes. And the mighty 8-inch move of the card.
Gandalf on cart for contest of champions.
That's incredible, eh?
I think I'm sadistic, but I want to see this verse like an all chariot Khan list. It just seems so many. Like a horrific way to go.
You can't even drive with an inch of Bombadil and Goldberry. They get to stand in front of the
you take out Bill,
chariots.
Gandalf, Frodo, and Sam.
I want to see this. I want to see this playing recon and just Bill and Gandalf leaving everyone else in the dust.
Trying to maneuver
like
chariots
Unless he's doing. I wish
in
it
a
was
way around those guys seems impossible.
650 for recon would have been cool because like have Tom and Goldberry just like making a little path.
I often thought about you could do Tom and Goldberry like in base contact with Legolas, and he could just stand there and shoot and be completely immune to being charged because they can't get within an inch of Bombadil and Goldberry. There you go.
Can we not tower game?
What are you going to do?
I often thought if I was going to run Bombadil and Goldberry, that's how I'd do it. And it's like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Conversation you're often having with yourself.
I lie awake at night most nights thinking, how would I do Bombadil and Goldberry? And this is it.
That's ancient gold.
I was thinking about their happy home life and I get jealous.
Yeah, right.
This is cool.
I mean, I don't know what else there is to say. This is Maverick list. I like it.
There's nothing to say. We've just been talking. There's nothing to say about this.
You're
This
going
is
to have a lot of fun whoever's taking this.
phenomenal. Refreshing song, folks. Learn it.
Ooh.
Oh, yuck. Why would you
Yuck.
put this up after seeing that?
It's just from
What a
the
nerd.
sublime
Another nerd
to the
list.
profane.
What
Nerd
a
list.
nerd
A nerd list with like 5 Numenorian bows
Yeah.
counts as a nerd list these days. Jeez. Standards are slipping.
Why doesn't anyone have a shield? That's
Who
weird.
wants to read this out? Me do? I do? Oh, great. Okay, I will then.
Why do you want to read it out?
All right, someone else read it out then.
All right, I'll read it out.
Shouldn't the person who's running this read it out?
Sam, read it out.
This is a Numenor list by a player of the game. The leader is Elendil on a horse, no shield, for obvious reasons. 6 Numenorians with bows, 6 Numenorians with shield and spear, 5 Numenorians with shields, and 1 Numenorian with a shield, a spear, and a banner. Then we've got a Numenor captain with a horse, heavy armor, shield, and lance, leading 5 Numenorians with shield, 3 Numenorians with shield and spear, and 4 Numenorians with bow. And then we have the same Numenorian captain with no troops.
Needs more crossbow.
The
I
red
don't
herring.
think the Elendil with no shield is an obvious reason. Run us through it, Sam. I think
So,
it's a very cool thing.
so my thing here is Elendil
Yeah.
is one of the extremely few models in the game who has a mastercrafted 2-handed weapon and can also bring a shield. And so my thinking is I cannot see a time when in combat with your 3 might, 3 attacks, mastercrafted 2-handed weapon, fight 7 hero when you're going to want to use that shield in combat rather than just cut something to pieces.
Shattered or transfixes, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, sure. Maybe then if he can transfix
Shadow
through
Shaman
fortify
breaks
spirit,
it.
he's
Through
welcome
that.
to.
Yeah.
Shadow Shaman, yeah.
I've seen your
so
rolls.
My thinking is basically drop the shield, save yourself 5 points, day 1, day 2, and all it's going to do is defend you from shooting, and you're already scared about that with your naked horse anyway, so why worry?
Nice. What do you invest those 5 points in?
I rearranged some spears and got myself an extra troop, and I think that was worth it in the end.
That's definitely worth it.
The double Numenor captain is a potent threat in
They're
their
a
own right.
feral unit.
Yeah, they're a very, very strong captain.
Very
Plus
strong
you have a
captain.
shield and lance.
Just a
Probably my
tank,
favorite
really.
captain in the game. Yeah.
Was it fight 5 D7?
5/5
Lance?
D7 Lance.
with Lance.
Yeah.
75 points for
what
that
more
is
do
a
you want in a
pretty damn
captain?
good deal. Yeah.
What more do you want? And
Genuinely.
get 2 of them. I like it. Double down. How many
Chop, chop,
models is
chop. 30,
It's a lot of models.
no, 30,
It's a lot of new
Three?
models.
I want to say.
That's nice. I like this.
Not too bad, eh?
Random thing.
Mm.
Reason for just having one Numenorian captain as a one-off drop and not like maybe even out
Yeah.
splitting the warbands. What's
So,
your call there?
I've previously played a variation of a list, a list that's like very heavy on captains. So you've got like 4 or 5 captains at Sildor and then like a dozen troops. And there's a lot of value in being able to do like a captain solo drop.
Yeah.
Just like a first drop series opponent's going to deploy, or in those, whatever the divide and conquer you got to deploy on opposite sides of the warband. If you can put almost your entire army in one corner and one lone captain on the other side, it helps, I guess, keep your force in one place. So I think it's a useful option to have that one drop. And because I felt like, half a dozen Numenorians and a captain is not really a potent force on its own compared to 12 Numenorians and a captain, and then just one solo captain who can kind of hopefully skate around people.
Personally, I'm a huge fan. A lot of players would try and even up the warbands, but for the reasons you just said, I'm a huge fan for having a one captain drop.
Thank you.
I think that's right.
I'm trying to learn from the vastly better players I associate myself with. This is my answer to I couldn't play Corsairs because their defense is too low and they're not really good at killing things in combat. And I thought,
keep the fight 4, keep the
I'm a
strength
big
3.
wham bam hero, yeah, and strength 4, buddy.
Oh yeah, that's right. The new one.
Don't forget you've got
strength 4
in Contest of Champions.
Elendil in Contest of Champions, or in any scenario, is just an absolute demon.
Just have Elendil, yeah.
And I've got him on day 2 as well, because Elendil on day 2. Yes, please. So day 2,
Elendil has to be up there for like the most fun single model in the game.
He is a war machine, an actual war machine.
Yeah, I think when you're trying to get someone into the game, Rivendell or Elendil on a horse is the thing you give that person.
Yeah.
Just because it just cuts through
war machine
so much. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Industrial slaughterhouse.
To play.
So much fun.
You want to use these spell things on me? I don't know what that means, but I guess I'll just resist it.
And after bringing 2 Corsair crossbow captains and Delamere, who just kind of bounced off things in a way that I wasn't entirely comfortable with, I thought I need something that I could just say, die, and Damon dies. And Elendil is the man for that job, if you ask me.
I just love how much these lists you've just overcompensated.
100%. I walked away. I drove back on the road from Southcon and was like, so clearly I'm not a Corsairs kind of guy. What kind of guy am I? I'm a this kind of guy. This is me. This is me.
Genuinely can confirm 10 minutes after the tournament finished, he had decided he's taking Elendil.
We had not left in Eden, and I said, I'm taking Elendil. Yeah, genuinely.
And he's stuck with it.
I walked into day 2 of that tournament thinking, I'm taking Elendil next tournament. Not doing this again. so here it is. I'm sticking with it. Day 2, 14 Numenorians on Elendil.
I think you outshoot me.
I think I
numbs with bow.
At this point. No, you mean I'm only shooting on 4s, wounding on strength 2 like you are.
It's a good amount of bows.
I think it feels like right amount of bows. Yeah, definitely.
There's sort of not a lot of options for day 2, is there? You could
add a shield to Elendil if you want to.
But here's the thing: you can't actually. You can't, and you wouldn't anyway.
Nah.
You're already scared of shooting.
The 5 bows is great. Keeping the banner. Go to Elendil.
Hey, can I ask? Well, did you ever consider? I don't know what the points are on this, but Elendil with the 2 captains, and maybe just like a bow guy on a banner guy on the side.
Well, Elendil and the 2 captains is 345 points.
Is it? So you did consider this. And if you're taking a shield with Elendil, that's 350
That would have been the exact 350 points I would have done, yes. But then
George loves it. George loves it.
I only love that there was that perfect 5 points for the shield.
It seemed a bit ballsy to just go for that. Now I can still outnumber apparently half the people on day 2 and still have Elendil, so.
No,
it is just the perfect wee fighting force, though, isn't it?
It's perfect for me. I don't know if it's perfect overall, objectively, but it's perfect for me. It's just what I want.
I want to see you versus Hub.
Gotta treat yourself.
The random Thranduil's Hall player.
How dare you name it Sharon Diddy?
It may not actually be him. I haven't looked at who the people
It is unconfirmed Harpreet, but
yeah,
it is a Wellington event.
Anyway, I want to see this versus Thranduil's Hall.
I
not
want to
sure
see
I
this
do,
versus the
really.
Watcher in the water.
I'm
You're
not
like,
sure I
"What?"
do. Really. I'm not sure I do really. No,
I want to
At
see
which point,
Elendil
maybe
chop
four-
through 80
I do want to see.
goblins.
I do want to
Yeah.
see Elendil go through 4 Palace Guard in a turn. Actually, yeah, that'd be quite satisfying.
Would have
Which he
just
can
been
do
2 if
very
it was my
easily.
list.
He can probably get through 80 goblins as well if you give him a chance.
Yeah.
Fun.
All right.
Hey,
Right.
Denny, hypothetical question. You know Elendil's coming to a tournament. Are you taking Palace Guard captain?
Am I ever
I
taking a
didn't
Palace
want the
Guard
answer.
captain?
I just wanted the little smirk.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay, good. Move on.
Tonight at 3 a.m, George is going to flick me a message being like, thoughts on this Palace Guard captain in this list.
All right.
Did
And
you
I'll
message
answer
me
because,
thinking
yeah,
thoughts on
3:01
5 to 6
a.m.
Serpent Riders?
You've ruined my own list for me. Thanks, guys. Thanks, guys.
That's what we're here to do.
You've ruined everything. All right. Oh yes, it goes from better to better, doesn't it?
I can't handle this. Should I go?
You forget
Go
to
on then.
type chariot at some point.
Yeah, so we got can't here.
Yes. This is
Can't.
discussion.
And so Warband 1 is a Khandish king who is
Is he on
not
foot, Sam,
taking
or is this
anything
it?
on foot.
This is as it was presented to me. The points given to me were the points that correspond to this, and
Oh,
I had similar questions.
I'm
I
a
love
big
it.
fan of that.
Okay, the Khandish king with no chariot is taking 6 Khandish horsemen, 5 Khandish warriors, and then 4 Khandish warriors with a bow. Then we've got another Khandish king who has also decided to join the battle lines like the common folk and has not taken anything. But he is taking with him 6 Khandish horsemen, 5 Khandish warriors, and stop me if you've heard this before, 4 Khandish warriors with bow. And then
I'm still just
Warband,
thinking of the idea of you talking about the common folk.
Warband 3, Khandish chieftain, again, nothing else. But they're taking 5 Khandish horsemen and 5 Khandish warriors. I don't want to talk about the thing that we're all thinking about.
I think it's just an utter maverick move.
It's a maverick move, all right.
And
I
it's,
say
usually I would be like, it's a Wellington event with a card list. I can pin down who this player is pretty easily, but now I'm not so sure. I mean, it still must be, but
if it's the person that I know that runs Khan, this is just the ultimate troll.
this is their field. I like.
I was going to say,
Someone do the maths. Is it like the Khandish box of metal miniatures? Does it perfectly align here? Is that
It is
what's happening here?
17 horsemen, though.
yeah, I was about to say it's a non-mounted Khandish army, and then hang on, yeah, 17 horse archers,
horsemen
All horsemen have bows.
Yeah. and then 8
plus
bows on foot.
Eight bows on
There's
foot.
25 bows sitting quietly there.
I don't think about shooting there.
It's not quite range of Athelion, but she's not far away.
I suspect I might have a few more bows in Raiders of Athelion Day 2, though.
I suspect it will be.
What does day 2 look like for Khan?
What does that do? Let's find out, shall we? Yep. No, that's more.
All right, jeez. We've got a Khandish king who's taken 4 Khandish horsemen, 4 Khandish warriors, and then 2 Khandish warriors with a bow. And then Warband 2, we've got a Khandish chieftain again. He's taking 4 Khandish horsemen, 4 Khandish warriors, and 2 Khandish warriors with bows.
Can you explain your fascination with the word Khandish?
I was hoping to get a reaction out of you.
Surely it's self-explanatory. It's a phenomenal word, Khandish.
Say you can't handle this. You can't.
All right, no, you ruined it.
I think in all seriousness, if that's how you're taking this list over to day 2, that's probably about as
It's
Well,
a
you
lovely
gotta
day
take that.
too. It's a lovely day
it's
too.
a really, really
It's
nice.
actually-
I would still like to
puts
see
a
the
lot of
horses.
pressure on you.
but-
Yeah, it puts a lot of pressure on you with those 8 horsemen that can
Do
also
you think
shoot.
this outshoots you?
Yeah.
Danny?
It does,
Into
because
the
the
ground.
way I think about it, and here we go, here's one nugget of gold for anyone that's actually made it this far, is whenever I see a troop on a horse, I just automatically assume that they've just been given a point of fate in the shooting wall.
Wow.
Anyway,
Food for thought. I'll
Fair
think
enough.
on that for the
I
next
like
10
that.
minutes.
it's
and I'll get
essentially
back
a
to
1
you.
up, 1 down.
I
Yeah.
like that.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. But it's also a lot more impactful when you hit it.
100%, but it's also a lot more impactful when it gets to hit something.
Misses. Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. Anyway,
Anyway.
so it is 12 bows, day 2.
Yeah, it's enough to force an opponent to come to you unless it's
really strong day 2, right? Like
It's
got
really good day too.
all the speed you could possibly want. It has
Yep.
12 bows to force engagement. It is missing a
it's
banner.
almost better day 2 because you can hide the king from all the leader VP scenarios. I mean, if you can, depending if you want to come back after day 1 after playing Assassination and Contest of Champions with no chariots. Even the Maelstrom one with the chariot would have been epic.
Even a horse. Even a horse. Even a horse.
Yeah.
Chariot. Give me a horse or 3 horses, please. Yeah.
But no, that day 2 is vicious.
Lovely, eh? Yeah.
That's everything you want day 2 minus a banner. It's got speed. It's got bows. It's got decent hair. I like it.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a full canned army with no chariots.
Yeah, exactly.
Big props from me. Righty, folks.
Go back a list.
Seamless.
Folks, we're going to do a Corsair Serpent Horde list here for the first time. For the first time we've seen it, there were no technical issues at all in the intervening period.
Sam was the boomer.
Here we have Delamere leading 7 Corsairs with Spear and Shield, 6 Arbalesters, 5 Black Numenorians, and a Partridge. And we've got Corsair Captain with a crossbow, leading 4 Arbalesters, 4 Black Numenorians, and 4 Corsairs with Spear and Shield. And we've got Solodan on an armored horse with 6 Abracan Guard and 4 Serpent Riders. This is
just to clarify, is everyone's laptop plugged in?
Yeah, Sam, is your laptop charging?
Sorry, it's tough being the tech guy and also MC and also bearer of common sense in this chat. Sometimes I drop these things. And World's Best Dad, obviously. Can I just say there is something about like a Solodan plus Abracan Guard and Serpent Riders drop that just makes me think that the player playing it is just a nerd. This is the same thing you did, Denny. There's just something about just putting that in there.
Black Numenorians as well. Don't forget about that.
Serious business.
I think you just look at this list and assume it's me taking it and therefore jump to nerd.
Maybe that's what it is. When I first
insulted someone completely random.
When I first saw the graph and I saw a Corsairs plus Serpent Horde, I'm like, George has got Delamere with Solodan. That's what I thought. And it turns out someone else has Delamere and Solodan.
Do you think you'd do better if you had Solodan at Southcom?
100%. That was the lot. I was there.
That's what you were missing. That was the key.
I needed some horses. I genuinely think that's the first time I've ever played a game of Lotra without a significant cavalry component, and it was just a disaster. It turns out that I am only as good as the number of cavalry models I have. So it's my learning, and I'm bringing it forward. Anyway,
hey, look, a list. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about this man. Yeah.
I was going to ask you, Sam, because the last time we discussed your Corsairs list, I was laughed out of the virtual Zoom room when I asked the question, do you ever not take 1/3 crossbow and you chuck in a few bowmen just so you can move half and still shoot?
And once
what are your
again, you're going
thoughts?
to get laughed out of this, Denny.
Out of the room, out of the Zoom?
I mean, my personal thoughts have changed slightly in that I did notice that I would get halfway into the game and have 1/3 of my army, 18 inches away because they've been staying still the entire time, plonking away and doing a good job. Don't get me wrong, but your 45 model horde goes down to the Arbalists were the only ones that did a good job. They did a good job. But yeah, certainly your 45 model horde becomes a 30 model army of defense 3 troops, which suddenly is a whole different story.
A whole different story though when you have 9 Black Numenorians and 6 Abracan Guards and 4 Serpent Riders. It's a very different army.
That's a very different army. And I think in this case, I got no problem with the Arbalists because you got a lot of punch in that front line and a lot of staying power that you don't have when you just have a horde of pirates.
There's also just never a world where there's a problem with the Arbalists. You're always mixing your Arbalists. Like, I cannot be convinced that taking Corsair Bomber is the way forward.
So the main reason is because I want to run that list at some point and I cannot be bothered buying the 3-packs. I just want to buy the plastic sets and be done with it.
There's paper mache, some shields on you guys.
Paper mache, who la di da, Mr. Frenchman. The
Is that
green
what
stuff.
we've-
Oh,
Green stuff
That's
is
it,
so
we've-
expensive for
Who
me.
needs green stuff when you can paper mache
I was going to
models?
say blue tack, just a big honk of blue tack, like
That
a
ex-
Boromir.
That
No,
explains
sorry,
why all the armies that you've made, George, look like absolute shit. And that explains why your Corsairs look like the way they do. It's because they've been paper mache. That's what that inch
No, you
of
make full use
planks
of
Remember
the
that-
is.
20. You make full use of the 24-pack box as well, and that's your shields on the front.
There we go. Remember the time we said we'd drop the banter and speed through the list review?
Yeah,
Good
alright.
times.
Okay.
No,
What's this thing got on day 2?
yeah, it's an incredibly strong day 1 list
And
and an incredibly strong day 2
pretty
list.
substantial
stronger
day 2
day two
list.
list.
Yep.
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 You do
Uh,
run. It's the classic issue though of taking an expensive banner on day 1. That's hard to carry over to day 2.
Yeah, so you are
That's
playing 2 out of the 4 scenarios day 2 with no banner, but you'd hope you're winning that shooting war and forcing engagement.
Yeah, and then by the time they get you
They should.
to your front line, Delamere is really, really undervalued as just a hero that's really good at staying alive.
Yeah.
It's not often you give up speed of VPs with Delamere.
Nah.
It's not my experience, actually. It's funny you should mention that.
You know that it has the elvish cloak, right, Sam? You're putting it in terrain,
Sorry,
So
right?
apparently there's a few different
terrain?
play styles of using Delamere.
2 wounds, defense 4, 2 wounds. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, it'd be a lot safer than a Lender, wouldn't he?
The leader was a lot safer, that's for sure. You're too right. That's
you know, day
gnarly
2
on
is
day
going to
2.
force it. I think we haven't really spoken about it, but day 2 seemed like there's 2 key sort of play styles to it. You know, you can take a high speed mobility list and try to brush models off the side and destroy the spies. There's also a very real world where you're taking a big shooting defensive list and just denying your opponent VPs. And
Like
I think
what's
this
that?
list is going to play quite similar to Defenders of Helm's Deep in that sense.
Literally, what I was going to say. What's that Legion called when they're sitting on top of Helm's Deep? Yeah, high defense.
They're gonna just
shooting.
make it an absolute nightmare trying to get off their borders. They're gonna make an absolute nightmare trying to kill one of their suppliers.
Yeah. Did we foreshadow Sam for the next list?
Oh, should we find out? Have we foreshadowed? Oh, actually,
No.
defensive. We foreshadowed anyway.
Yeah.
Return of the King.
I can take us away here.
Take it.
Yep, Return of the King Legion. Yep. Everyone with Andrew. We have 5 dead warriors with shield, 3 warriors that dead with shield and spear.
Oh, thank God they
Yeah.
already did.
We have Legolas with 4 warriors that dead with shield. We have King of the Dead with 5 warriors that dead with shield. We have 2 warriors that dead with spear. Where are the cavalry? Go.
So is there no shields on those 2 guys at the end? That's interesting.
A mere D7 or something. Are
D7. Yeah, so
Weak.
strength 3, winning on 6s.
Is there a real weak point, chink in the armor, if you will?
Yeah. That's a standard Return of the King, Legendary Legion
And we're going to have
list.
the standard discussion we have
About how
every
many
Return of the
cav
King,
should
how
you
many
have in
cav.
it? Yeah, I would personally go for 2
2?
cav. What about you, George?
2.
Yeah. And then probably 1 cav at
1,
350.
Yeah.
Well,
I think
this
me and
person
Timmy could
is
just,
not
just
interested in your
merge our
advice.
screens into one. We give the same advice. We
Yeah.
have the same thoughts.
It must just be good advice then, mustn't it?
Honestly,
Two
just
great
become Denny
geniuses delivering
Jr.
it.
The kids can call you Duju.
What's the skill on day 2, folks? It's see, I think Return of the King, I don't mind at 650. Return of the King at
I don't like it at
350.
It
This
feels
is the
rangerish,
problem
doesn't
you
it?
have at
It feels
350.
like
Yes,
the
it feels like the
Rangers
Ranger list.
situation.
You've just lost
Well-
a lot of troops.
No, I was going to say the opposite. It's actually really scary versus this at a low points level because it moves at you with the free march every single turn. You're not doing anything with your shots because it's all
Fair enough.
D8. And then when it does eventually hit, you don't have many troops to hide behind. Aragorn's like 1 heroic combat and usually into your big guy. Or maybe 2 heroic combats and then into your leader. I don't know, it's pretty scary at 350.
I think for me, it's a lot scarier at 650 than it is
I think
at
it's a lot.
350,
I still feel like it's more scared at 650. Yeah.
Yeah. I think 350 is very, very vulnerable, just getting overrun, getting surrounded.
So
getting trapped,
few. Yeah, there's so
tying up
few of
Aragorn,
them.
tying up the king.
Yeah.
But at 650, it's a real threat, I think.
There's
Like you
not
said,
many
it just marches
bodyguard at
straight into you.
350.
Yeah, true. I mean, everyone's heroic combat and might better
Yeah.
is going to eventually take over the game. You're not wrong.
And I think the theme of 350 is you're not usually seeing more than 18 troops at most.
There is something interesting in the idea of taking a replenishing might, or a free might every turn at lower points where there's less might to begin with.
That's
You know,
massive value
free
there.
might where you're getting one every turn. In a
Any
game
free
where
resource.
there's an average of 5 might.
Why
is
do
a lot
that
better
when
than
you
a
can
free
take
might.
5 orc captains on WoW with the Wolves of Isengard list?
Genuinely though. 10 mites almost as
Yeah.
good as 3+1 at 350, isn't it really?
But yeah, I think if that Aragorn and 5 warriors can hold out until when that might can take over the game,
If
it's definitely got the capability of breaking someone.
Yeah.
Aragorn can hold out that long. I don't know if you can keep 5 warriors of the dead, just 5 warriors of the dead alive that long, can you?
D8 means 3s are what, 6s by 4s.
For most things, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
If they get trapped by
And
3
and
guys
don't
on
forget,
them.
the King of the Dead's a second threat there. You know, it's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
just
it's a
That's true.
sleeper,
That's
eh?
true. He's not nothing. That's very true.
No, I
But
actually think the 350 list is scarier than the 650 list, but I'm in the minority. And as we've learnt from recent proceedings at Supreme Courts, it's okay to be in the minority.
That was actually was that a woke statement from you, Denny?
Yes.
Good. That's what we need. That's what we need more
Thank
of.
you.
Not like,
I don't make jokes, I just make wokes.
like the 40k community. We're a progressive MESPG community.
Mm.
Not like those troglodyte 40k players.
moving on.
Can I say I brought Allendale for this very reason. I look at that and I'm like, okay. I got, twice as many troops, they're all fight for, and I got Allendale, whatever. Famous last words. This is not the reason I bought Allendale, this list. This is the opposite of the reason I bought Allendale. This is Minas Tirith. We have Denethor as our leader, the mighty Denethor, leading 13 Fountain Court Guard with shields and
How
one
many,
Fountain
sorry?
Court Guard, 13, one Fountain Court Guard without a shield.
A baker's dozen.
A baker's dozen. Then we have Boromir with a shield and a horse and a banner and 2 Knights of Minas Tirith with shields. Then we've got Madril leading 3 times ranges of Gondors. And then we've got a bolt thrower with swift reload.
I think I know
And then
whose
we've
list
got
this is.
another bolt thrower with swift reload.
I think I know whose list this is.
Is that genuinely 2 bolt throwers?
That is
With
2 bolt
swift
throwers.
reload.
Oh,
And 3 ranges just because why not?
I hear 3 ranges, correct amount of ranges to have around here.
I think so. For day 2. Let's see if it carries over to day 2.
It's true. There's more ranges in the range of the Billion list day 2.
Day 2, they have the same number of ranges as the ranges of
3
the Billion
ranges.
list in day
Hate
2.
it.
They have Denethor with somehow still 12 Fountain Court Guard with a shield, still 2 Knights of Minas Tirith with shield, Madril with 3 ranges and a bolt thrower. So basically they've dropped
How have you
Boromir
got
and
a
a bolt
bolt
thrower.
thrower into day 2?
Denethor.
Would you take
That's
Denethor? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Denethor and Madril as your heroes.
we do have to acknowledge this person has to play Contest Champions with Denethor.
So then
That
you
is
play
very true.
Assassination with Boromir.
I was about to say you get Assassination with Boromir,
And then you got
And you-
Madril with the Maelstrom game.
and you
So
got Madril from Maelstrom. So
it's a
yeah.
pretty strong day 1 list, I would say.
You do also have 2 bolt throwers to protect a Maelstrom, though.
You do. Have to
That's
be
true.
brought on first.
Day 2, you don't have too much speed. You have 2 knights. It's probably
Yeah,
enough, to be
that's
honest.
enough speed. Yeah.
Considering no banner day 2, there's been a few lists that have suffered from this, having to take a big point banner day 1.
True that.
Mm.
We saw the Rise of Theoden list take a secondary banner just for that exact reason, so they could take a banner over to day 2.
Mhm.
It's a lot trickier to do in this list. Like I don't know where you're
He's
playing
got-
25 points.
He's got no troops that can carry a banner anyway for starters, so you have to switch out.
Look at that.
True, true.
Sure. Yeah, so day 2, no banner in a list that wants the castle is sort of gonna struggle,
Spicy.
I think, a bit.
Spicy.
It's also just a really strong list in the sense that it's got a bolt throw and 3 ranges that even if it doesn't have a banner, it's forcing the opponent to the hit.
For me, the strong thing for day 2 is the bolt throw and 2 knights. That's kind of all you need. Bolt throw is you've kind of got to put a lot of resources into dealing with that.
Mm-hmm.
And then whilst your opponent's putting in a lot of resources to deal with that, your 2 knights can go off and play the objective game. What's the one? To the death will be interesting with Denethor as the leader. Again, no banner. So if you do castle and you're versing a banner, that's going to be an interesting castle.
very powerful in breakthrough, though, isn't it? Having a bolt thrower sitting near your objective, having fountain court just sitting on the others.
Yeah. How does bolt throw come on and breakthrough? Is it the one where like you roll a dice and it's 1, 2, 3, top half, 4, 5, 6?
I don't know. I think it just rolls normally, right? It's
Just
a
comes on
normal-
away.
Yeah. It's only Maelstrom that has a funny deployment, I think. No, very powerful list, and I don't know if day 1 or day 2 is scarier. I'm hoping not to play it.
Hoping
I
for a
think we all know
classic.
who's in charge of it as
Yeah.
well, so it's going to be particularly terrifying.
Hoping for a classic NZ meta board that's just so packed with terrain that there's no opportunity for the bot thrower to do what it wants to do. Fingers crossed. Bring along your trees, boys and girls.
All those 3 ranges.
There's 3 ranges. Defenders of Helm's Deep.
They're
Legendary
foreshadowing.
Well,
Legion.
we actually ended up with the defenders list.
End up with the defenders
Yeah.
list.
I think it's
Um,
strong.
It's going to be Theoden with armor and shield, and leading 7 Warriors of Rohan with shield and throwing spears, 2 Warriors of Rohan with shield, and 1 Royal Guard with a banner, and Harleth, son of Hammer. There's your banner. Warband 2, we have Aragorn, leading 5 Galathrim with bows, 3 Rohan Warriors with shields and throwing spears, 1 Rohan Warrior with shield. And then Warband 3, we have Haldir with heavy armor and bow, leading 5 Galathrim with bows, 3 Rohan Warriors with shield and throwing spear, 1 Rohan Warrior with a shield. Ta-da.
Very cool. I have
That
such a
is-
soft spot for this list.
It's a really cool, but also very strong list, I feel.
It's very interesting. There's a lot of
Theoden,
interesting
Aragorn,
choices.
and Haldir. The Royal Guard with a banner is a very, very niche pick.
But the Royal Guard with the banner, yeah. The exclusion of Royal Guard, full stop. I think
That's spicy.
I mean, you're getting some sweet numbers excluding the Royal Guard bonuses.
Yeah.
And that means you get more elf bows with those numbers. So that's cool.
getting
Was it
D6
30
and bodyguard on that
32
front
troops?
rank's just so
It's not
good.
that sweet.
Was it,
Be curious,
sorry?
32 troops. It's not like it's
When you're paying for
massive,
Aragorn,
isn't it? That's true of Aragorn. Yeah.
Theoden, Haldir, yeah.
I'm interested by the Aragorn pick. I think maybe the yours, as I've talked about before, this list is very hard to build, I find, and you end up in a whole Aragorn v gambling situation, which one you're taking. And I wonder if not wanting to take gambling due to the banner carry over to day 2 pushes you towards Aragorn a bit.
I think you go towards Aragorn just because day 1 assassination
And that's, yeah.
is pretty damn strong. And then Theoden in contests is enough to kill a few troops whilst Aragorn takes out their opponent's leader.
It seems like a
the
pretty
Maelstrom,
clear cut switch to day 2. You're getting rid of Aragorn. There's no world where you have enough points to have
No
Aragorn
way.
in theatre.
but Theoden and Haldir, if it is day 2. Do you want to hit up day 2?
Yeah.
Theoden,
It is
Haldir, and
those
a
2
banner.
guys. Oh, that is strong. Yeah.
That's good.
When we were talking about the Corsair list by having like a defense option for
Yeah.
those day 2 scenarios, this is the exact list I was hypothetically talking about, and here we have how many bows is it? 36.
6 bows, 7 shots.
7 shots. Yeah. That's out shooting you, Jenny.
It is, especially when you've got 3 mightable.
9 throwing spears.
When 2 of those shots have got 3 might on them as well. It's quite strong.
And like I said, 9 throwing spears.
Yeah.
That's and 5 on the elves scattered around.
Yeah.
Deal with any heroes you need to. You do have Theoden on foot for Contest of Champions. It's not
It's not inspiring, is it?
it's not inspiring, but it's not Denethor.
So, contest, I think it's fine. Theoden on foot's probably going to kill 1 or 2 troops, and then Aragorn's going to
Yeah,
kill your opponent's leader.
banking on Haldir's going to blow some might into the opponent's horse. No, it's a very neat list. I think it's a really creative way of approaching these scenarios. Plus, it's just really cool to see defenders being played. I really like this. It's a powerful legion that sort of hasn't been explored.
Powerful
much,
legion.
I don't think. 30-inch bows. Just
That's big.
Yeah.
That's true. That's huge.
it's going to do some stuff. It's going to guarantee you winning a shooting war day 2, unless you're up against a Dwarf
Does,
Ballister
does,
or a
does
bolt
this beat
thrower or
2
How
bolt
far does a bolt
throwers
thrower
with
shoot, though?
Swiftly? 24, right? Oh, it's a 48.
I think it's 48, right?
Is it 48?
Oh, nice. I thought it was 24 for some
I thought it was
reason.
20. I thought it was 24.
Maybe it's 24.
Because it's not like a true siege weapon.
Yeah, that's the idea, I think.
I don't know.
Anyway, we'll discuss this list.
Might not shoot a bolt thrower.
Yeah.
6 inches for shooting the bolt thrower. Right. We like it. We're happy. Defenders.
Big fan.
We have another Angmar list. This one, now this one I had to do differently because the warbands were so long that I had to. This is all day one because otherwise it was just
Two-hand.
font was the size. So
Hey,
we have
314-3.
a Witch King 314-3 with a horse and the crown, leading 5 orcs with shield, 3 orcs with shield spear, 2 wag riders with shield throwing spear, 1 orc with a 2-hand, a wag and a dead marsh spectre. And we've got a Barrow White leading 4 orc shield spears, 3 orc shield, 2 orc 2-handed weapons, 1 wag rider with a shield and throwing spear, 1 wag and 1 spectre. Got a bit sloppy there towards the end. And then Birder with leading 5 orcs with shield, 4 orcs with shield and spear, 2 orc with spear, 1 orc with shield spear banner, 1 wag rider with shield throwing spear, 1 wag and 1 dead marsh spectre. That's how
Good
they
luck
won,
to
folks.
anyone just listening, following along.
I really hope this person hasn't taken what you see is what you get.
I have just looked into it, by the way. At the very first line of bolt thrower special rules, an Avenger bolt thrower only fires 24 inches.
There we go.
So you're wrong.
Thanks, dude.
Got to happen once in a while, doesn't it? Let's talk about this list, as Denny once famously said.
Yeah.
We talked before about preferring the Barrow White and the 2 Barrow Whites and a shade to the Birder.
It's quite funny because the first email list that we looked at, hopefully just 45 minutes ago after we've edited this all down, and not 3 hours ago, was kind of lacking the kill ability. So we were talking about, they said they weren't going to take Birder.
The 2 hands and the Birder.
And
yep.
the 2 hands, yeah. Whereas this one's just doubled down saying, you know what, I'm going to give you a Birder, and I'm going to give all like a third of my orcs 2-handed weapons as well. So this one's probably going to be killing a lot more. I like the variation, giving the wag.
Spectres.
Spectres are cool.
Spectres are real cool.
3
Spectres are very
Spectres, that's
cool.
really cool. Yeah.
I just like the Barrow White is literally bringing war.
So, no, I was a bit sloppy about that one, obviously.
I mean, what is it good for? And the one
nothing.
Warg Rider shield T-Spear looks like the Hotmail address of a Warg Rider underscore
it's
shield.
your email address, isn't it, Denny? I'm sure it is. It's interesting. I think maybe some of these things like the 2-hand weapons could have benefited more from the inclusion of the shade, ironically. Would have been maybe better off back in the start. Rather than here with the Birder, though. I mean, I think it's the 3D March features is great, though. That's really, really cool. Some of that lockdown that you otherwise don't get with only the 1 Barrow White.
Noteworthy, not armored horse I'm watching.
Literally what I was about to say. It's just disgusting, George.
Just a horse.
Literally about to say that. It was a person drafting this, find 5 points next time around to give your Witch King an armored horse. Just because strength 2 bows dehorsing you on 5s is so annoying.
Especially when they have 30-inch range.
Yeah, exactly.
Strength 3 anyway.
Strength 3, yeah.
I'm really interested in how this cuts down.
Yeah, show it to us.
I'll see how it cuts down. Witch King Barrow White and fullish bands, moderately full bands.
It did take on board the inclusion of the Wags. I think they make a big difference for day 2.
Yeah, it's very good.
17 troops, 4 Wags plus the Witch King on a horse. Still get a Spectre in there too.
So this is a really strong 350
and a banner.
You've got the Witch King and Barrow and a Dead Marsh Spectre, which does a lot of work, but it's going to do an incredible amount of work at 350. So you got 3 very big threats that you as an opponent, you're not going to have many answers to any of these 3. Whilst you also have the 2 Wags that can run around and play the objective game, and you've got the banner. Yeah, this is strong.
How many models is it? 5, 6,
17, I think. Yeah.
And like, even just trying to cut through the chaff of your opponent's troops isn't going to happen because they're all causing terror.
Yeah.
And unless you're taking 4 Huskarls, you're not going to have any bodyguard.
What if you
Which
are?
again is a reference to a list we reviewed 57 minutes ago.
You mean 3 hours and 50 seconds?
Yeah. When I was young.
No, I think it's a very
Interesting
cool
they've dropped the WA.
All right. Okay. All right. We're moving on. I'm not going to take this
The
kind of
level of
bullying.
chat has
It's just fallen to the
deteriorated
floor.
down to the WA.
The WA.
It is one of them.
Ooh.
Drop the
Yeah. Here we go. George, read us out.
Well, this is in
No.
fact my Riders of Theoden. I had such an absolute blast with the list.
I didn't write
at
this for
Southcon.
you.
I made up and I've never taken the same list twice to a tournament, as I was writing up all these other lists that I was going to take. And I was so giddy about playing Riders of Theoden again. I was like, you know what, I'm finally going to do it. I'm going to take the same list twice. So we have Theoden with an armored horse, heavy armored shield. We have 2 Royal Guard and a horse with throwing spears. Then we have Aemir with an armored horse and a shield with 2 Royal Guard and horses. We have Daewon on a horse. 2 Royal Guard on horses. We have Durnhelm, 2 Royal Guard on horses, and Gambling on a horse with the Royal Standard and 2 Royal Guard on a horse. For a total of
A mighty 15.
15.
16 if you count Mary.
16 if you count Mary. Look at that. Thoughts? Give it to me, guys.
Oh, incredibly strong day one.
Yep.
You've got enough might, Maelstrom, to come together, or enough movement to move around. If you don't come together, then contest the champions. Theoden's definitely going to kill a couple of things with that horse, whilst Aemir just goes and hunts down the opponent's leader, and then assassination. Aemir is just, well, actually any of those, maybe not Gambling, but at least 3 of those minor heroes are going to be incredibly strong assassinators. Well done. I'm trying to figure out a way to put like throwing T-spears, on the Royal Guards, but nah, I'd rather just have the amount of troops you've
Originally,
got.
I had 1 less Royal Guard and
Yeah.
had throwing spears everywhere, but I had to change it for day 2, not carrying
Okay.
here. But there's a few talking points for me. Number one is Gambling. The original time I wrote the list, I didn't have Gambling with the Royal Standard because I wanted a banner to carry over to day 2. You look at day 2, I don't have a banner, which is
Really, you're taking. So that's interesting, because I would have thought that you're taking Gambling, because I wouldn't take
Georgie.
Gambling
Yeah.
in that day 1 list unless I was taking it into day 2, which is actually pretty strong at day 2. I think.
Trust me, I tried every way to get a banner into day 2, and it just does not work. Like, as you can see, my day 2 list is very low on numbers already, and that is me having stripped all throwing spears, having stripped the banner. I tossed up having 2 heroes, and then I was like, am I really getting value out of my death?
Sorry, your day 2 list is not lacking on numbers. It's got 6 Royal Guard. I'm pretty sure the 600 point list you took to Southcon had 6 Royal Guard.
Okay. But if you add in a banner and throwing spears, that
I
drops
can
to 4
definitely
Royal
see where you're
Guard.
going.
You've got the same number of troops here as Rangers of the Theoden does on day 2. You know?
I'm really hoping the twist is that everyone loses horses that has horses. There's a horse plague or something. Mad horse disease.
Mad horse disease. If the man bringing eagle says we all lose horses, I'm walking out.
I'm really excited for this list day 1. I think it's going to be lots of fun. It's going to be really good. And then day 2, I'm pretty dubious about day 2. But
no, day 2 will be sick. You'll kill him.
I want to see this day 2 against a Avenger Bolt Thrower, because it might do a lot of damage.
You imagine that? It's like the cavalry on the battlefield in 1914, just getting minced. Getting absolutely minced.
Yeah, there's a lot of shooting day 2, which I think I'm going to have.
Is Theoden equipped to put down dying horses in the battlefield? Because he's going to need to.
But it definitely has the ability to break lists pretty quickly day 2, which I'm hoping for.
I don't think
big first turn.
I thought the only way that you break day 2 is if you unluckily lose like that first roll off. After that, you're probably going to have enough might to control priority for the rest of the game. So I don't
have any free might day 2 though. It's only 3-6.
Just one turn where you get free might on won
It's 9,
3
isn't it?
models.
I think Dernhelm's 2, correct?
Dunhelm's 3.
You should-
It's 2 plus Mary, isn't
Dunhelm
it?
is 3, and you should not be allowed to run this list if you don't know
I
that.
played
They're
Dernhelm
all
as 2
three.
might the entire last tournament. Are
Jeez.
you sure? I thought it was
Yeah,
2, 2, 2.
it's 2.
It's
It's
2
she is
plus
2,
Mary.
but you get 1 Mary.
I thought that was included. Well, yeah, there you go.
I'm really
Yeah.
excited to see George win Deso a 3rd time in a
Gee.
row when he doesn't know
Doesn't
the
even know his
rules of his own
troops.
list.
Oh my god. How is this the guy the one who does so well and I know all the rules for everything and I still can't play the damn game? It's just ridiculous.
It's because you took Corsairs. That's the only reason.
It's
Once you
right.
take the shield wall armor, you'll be fine.
If I'd taken a good list rather than Corsairs, I would have
Yeah,
been
exactly.
I would have been
Alright.
away.
Get us off this list before you
Famously
guys,
underpowered. All right. What do we got next, folks? We've got nothing. That was the last one. That's
Oh,
professional.
yes.
That's
I'm gonna get to
professionalism
bed
right there.
before 2
That's
a.m.
professionalism.
Yes, guys.
Yeah.
All right, we still have to do our favorite list.
We do.
All right, Sam, let's be quick. It's 1 in the morning.
My favorite
us away.
list
Favourite list.
is, I mean, the man's brought Tom Bombadil in Goldberry. I'm sorry if that's not everyone's favorite list. The world has gone completely mad. I'm sorry, Connor, Pajama Elves. Normally they would be, but I mean,
We don't name names.
Tom Bombadil. Sorry, he's the man who brought him last time, I assume. And I've got a special affinity, and I respect him very much. But Tom Bombadil and Goldberry, you love to see
Okay.
it.
Denny,
I'm gonna go with a list that I would have ran had I not run my list, which is the Eagles. I think it scales perfectly at 650 and 350, and it's just incredibly fun to play.
Mhm.
So that is my
it's
my
one we
favorite
didn't
list.
talk about much because there's not a lot of discussion there, but it is very strong. It's very fun. It's very good. I can see why you went that.
Yeah, and it's fun for your opponent as well. Just having to
Yeah,
think
it's
about
a fun
things that are
game.
moving. Yeah.
I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with Dunland for the second one in a row. I just think I don't know if it's something about the symmetrical list building of it.
Maybe it's the only list that's beaten you in 5 years. That's the reason why you like it.
I really don't want to verse that. Just hate the Rohan again. No, I think it just looks really cool. Like
Yeah, it does.
the way it's built. It's
If it
got
had more
everything. It's,
Creebane.
it's genuinely like a Swiss Army knife of lists.
Mm.
It just has answers for everything. It's got 6 in fan. It's just cool. I really like it. Big fan. Does that wrap us up, guys?
I think it does.
I think
Frankly,
so.
Another list review done and out of the way.
deeply, deeply excited to actually play them and see how it all goes in the tournament. And just
Yeah. And to the 2 people that made it this far, we're sorry.
And we should also say, because you guys absolutely need more content, as we do intend on doing a follow-up episode for Desolation of Wellington.
yes,
To sort of
So
explain
another
how
thing that you'll see on your Facebook post pop-up thing and then not click. So, but just hit that little like button next to it.
like
just
and
to-
subscribe.
no,
either of you two subscribe to our own channel.
I don't actually know how to subscribe.
I still haven't watched any
I'm
of my
not on
videos.
YouTube Premium, so I don't know if
Yeah.
I can subscribe. Is that how it works?
We'll explain it to you later, Denny. It's all good. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it,
Okay.
buddy.
Well, I
I'm
have
still
to
trying to figure out
get
this OnlyFans that you sent me.
I have to get up in a few hours and try edit this behemoth of a video. So
I don't know why. It's just perfect. It's gold. Just
It's gold. It's perfect as it is. Put it up. All right. It's been a pleasure once again, you fellas. I've really thoroughly enjoyed this. I'm really excited for the tournament, and I'm excited to report back to you all in a couple of weeks and say this is how it went wrong, and this is why it's not my fault. So it's gonna be dope.
all right. Thanks for
All
guys.
right.
Fold,
See you guys.
and they call it a mine. And they call it a mine. A mine!